Good evening. Oh, I still have something open that I shouldn't have. Hello, passion fruit. Hello, fantastic cow. How are you doing today? Uh, where? I already have the book cracked. Maybe I should actually close it for a brief second. Let me close the book. Let me close the book. There we go. I can never remember exactly what it is. Things are mostly fine. Things are mostly fine. I went shopping. I picked up some new teas, so I'm about to actually try it. Let's see. Taking a walk with an audiobook in your ears? Which audiobook? I still haven't gone to the library. I need to learn their schedule. I know some of them have varying hours, and I haven't memorized them yet. Sorry, I thought I heard someone calling me. I think he is calling me. Give me a second. I think I have a visitor at the door. At the gate. I never planned to go super long. I planned for like 3 hours or so. But I also don't want to end up... I don't want to only get partway through something, so... it's usually a problem with that, or so. Like, I'm at least going to get through Dark Woods. And again, it's 10 pages. How long can it take? How long can it take? The latest Mistborn book? You've been talking about Mistborn a lot. Hi. What is that emote? Who's BDO? Oh, Bruce drop. Oh, okay. That's why it's BDO. Okay. But, let me just check at the gate to see if there is someone there. Give me a second. He decided that he didn't wait for me, but he came anyway when I opened the gate. So it looks like I'm going to have... I'm not certain if he's looking for something. Why is he here? Well, hi. Did you not want to pay attention to me? I guess he doesn't. No, the plan is never 6 hours. The plan is until we finish the thing. So there's chance that I might still be on then. At most convenient times? You mean 9 p.m.? I was debating if I should switch up a little bit. If I should do Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday instead. I want to say as long as I have some time off in between, it's not a problem necessarily which days, as long as Thursday is free. I don't know if I want to do more than 4 days. But 9 p.m. is fairly convenient for me. I want to say sometimes I think I should go a little later, just because there have definitely been times I haven't been... I've slept in a bit sometimes. Oh, no. No, don't do that, no. No. Give me a second. He's here. He has decided to join us. Let me grab him for a second. Where are you? There we are. Okay, safely in my arms. You're an early bird. I know that there are some other people who stream because they're early birds. They'll stream. They get up at 6 a.m. or something like that, and then they're in bed by 9 p.m. I alter my schedule once. Sorka Juniper. She's an early bird, it seems. I I have tried to do that sometimes. I've tried to do that sometimes, but can't really portray what I am. An evening primrose. Come on. There might be a loud crack. Give me a second. I have to make space for His Highness. Or His Lowness, actually. He is. Huh? He is making space for himself at the expense of me. Hello, Zefja. How are you doing? Why couldn't this cat have been here yesterday? I was doing my singing practice, and the teacher recommended acting board for part of the singing. And I found the best way for me to do that while I was in front of the microphone was for me to pet the cat. Like sing and pet the cat at the same time. No headpad? Is headpad not working? Let me check. It may not be connected. Thank you. It's not. Okay. No, I'm going to. Cat. Cat. Okay, I'm going to refund that in a second. What kind of question are you going to ask? And I mean, you already asked me a question. So in that case, is it done? Where is it? For the reviews. No, I used to have something that would. We're going to recheck that one. I'm actually going to reject these all. I don't. Okay, it works. It's a little see-through strange, but it works. Okay, let's complete those. I'm going to complete these as well. It's kind of a wait. Today's Sunday. Today is Sunday. It doesn't really feel like it. Tomorrow is a holiday where I am. Spell your name. Zefija? Channel points? I don't quite get it. ZEPHYJAH? Is there something in channel points for spelling someone's name out? Oh. Posture check. Okay. In a stretch. I might do those out of order. Sorry, there's someone here who has made himself a bother. Okay. Can I get any cracks? Doesn't seem like it. What? No cracks. Actually, wait, can you hear him? Can you hear him? Ignore me. Oh, he might be getting drowned out by the audio filters. Might not be able to catch him purring. Pretty aggressive purr, or pretty aggressive filter going on. Hey. I guess he does sound kind of similar to the hum of other things. If I could get him to cry into the microphone, it'd probably be too loud. I get too loud. Because I have to do that. Not in this setting. Oh. Ah, I've not seen. Okay. When it comes to that, I don't know too many ASMR artists. I only know a few. And I haven't heard of that before. But I also don't really look into their channel points very often. Okay. Have I been doing any reading on my own lately? No, because I've been playing Vampire Survivor too much. I'm playing Vampire Survivor too much. I was looking through for a new solo RPG, so I read through a few of those, but that kind of feels neither here nor there. They're usually fairly short, and none of them quite caught my eye, something I want to play on stream. Oh, actually, hold on. That's a bit strange. Do this instead. Okay, that's weird. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Okay. Yeah. So nothing huge, nothing big. And also, I haven't been to the library. I wonder if they're gonna be open tomorrow. I kinda doubt it though. Oh, no. Every time I have to keep a hand on this monster with me right here. Otherwise, he decides to make it my problem. Why? He's not used to sharing. He's not used to sharing. Oh, I forgot to turn that off. Give me a second. Thank you for the follow. I thought I turned off some sounds. That means there's a bunch of other things that I need to adjust the sounds onto, I think. I think that probably should get lowered a little bit. That doesn't have a sound associated with it either. Thank you for the water. Let me... Oh, posture check. Okay. Give me a second. It's a lot of routines at once. So I had the water. I also have the posture check from Passion Fruit. I thought I'd like this tea. It's a bit... I'm not certain if I really like this tea. Maybe it needs sugar? I'm not usually one to say that. It's a bit... Okay. My posture hasn't fallen too poorly. Okay, let's get that stretch again. I don't think I have any cracks. No, I don't have any cracks. I'm sorry. The cat decided to play with a tea bag. He's done that a few times lately. It's actually rather worrisome. This time especially because it's an A porcelain tea bag rest. The American way or the normal way. In this case, it's actually... I don't know what you mean by the American way or the normal way. This is actually a Tisane. It's a blood orange Tisane. It's my first time having it. So I have, it's a loose tea. I have a metal strainer. It's a strange thing. It's basically a ball split in half. It's a ball split in half, and you use pressure to open or close the ball. So I left that in for 3 to 5 minutes or so to let this steep. This blood orange is on. Oh, I don't microwave. I used to have a metal kettle that I would put on the stove, and then I upgraded to an electric kettle. I use the electric kettle to make tea. Yes, I've heard of the microwaving water. That is not how I was raised to make tea. I was raised with a kettle. You do the American way. But also thank you for the follow, Defo Human and Darling Husband. Husbando. I'm sorry. Darling Husbando. But yes, no. My family is from the old country, so there's a lot of things that I did not pick up American style. And I think after a while of reading too much, I kind of break down into that accent. I normally don't have a whole lot of it. What's with that face? Sorry, someone is asking for attention. Two-chambered pot? Two-chambered pot. I've not heard of that one. I have like a more proper, if I know I'm going to have a long stream, I do have a proper teapot that I can put hot water into. Well, you put the leaves in first, then you pour hot water on top of that to filter. But I don't often use it. I need to know that I'm going to be drinking 32 plus ounces of tea at once. And I have so much loose leaf tea. Hello, Octorate. How are you doing? But no, I only know, I guess, one person who does the boiling water trick. Or not boiling water, the microwaving the water trick. But maybe that's also because... Oh? They're a particular type of American. And the rest, I think, would boil water. I think. But they also tend to make specialty drinks, specialty things. I don't really know if you could... I guess you could do that for Turkish coffee, but boil the water. But I think they just usually use an electric water kettle. Okay, this cat won't let me go. He won't let me go. At least he's not trying to drink my tea. He's done that in the past. Yes, I have a blood orange Dazan. It's supposed to be citrusy and sweet with a fruity aroma, and maybe I oversteeped it? It's not sweet. It's fruity, yes. And citrusy, but not sweet. Not overly sweet, at least. And, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It's the ingredients list for this tea. So, as I said, blood orange Dazan. Herbal tea. No caffeine, no actual tea plant tea. Ingredients. What would you think is the first ingredients in here for the blood orange Dazan? You're probably not gonna get it right. It's not blood. There's no blood in here. No, save the blood for the blood pudding. Oh, I meant to order some blood pudding over the holidays. No, you were not close. Apples. Apple is the first ingredient in this design. I've heard of, for fruit juices, apple juice being one of the first ingredients usually. especially for blends. It's a filler. I didn't really expect it for a tea to have apple as the first ingredient for the blood orange tea. Ah. I saved the blood tea for after hours. I saved the blood tea for after hours. Oi, oi, oi. Orange peel is the second ingredient. Third ingredient is hibiscus, then rosehip, beet, cranberry, natural flavor. I don't know why they added rose hips or hibiscus, unless it's more so hibiscus maybe and beet and cranberry. Beet is probably for the color because this is quite a dark red. It's a very dark color. It looks like the kind of tea that would stain. Looks like the kind of tea that would stain if you spilled it on anything. I have my tea bag. I have my tea bag out, and it's just dripping like pinkish red. And in the cup, it's kind of a dark purple. It's a purple kind of red, if that makes sense. Not very orange. But blood orange is supposed to not be exactly orange looking, right? On the inside? I don't... I guess I don't have the sensitivity for beet. I don't know what the notes are like. I know that for... if you're doing tastings seriously, or trying to take it seriously, or even, I guess, maybe like try hard casual tastings for wine, they do sell kits for smelling and for tasting, or getting notes down more easily to understand them. And I don't eat beet often enough, I feel like, to really understand what beet tastes like. However, I do feel like I taste cranberry in here. I do feel like I can taste cranberry in here. But I did just have, for the holidays, a long period of cranberry jam. Like fresh made cranberry jam, or rather it was fresh when it was first made at the first holiday, and then it lasted long enough as a jam to have it for the second holiday and the third holiday. And I don't often... oh, no. I don't often have orange, or at least not blood orange. So to me, this tastes very strongly of cranberry and citrus. Borscht. I don't think... yeah, I don't think I've often... or I don't know if I've ever actually had borscht. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I wonder... there's a red cabbage dish that they have sometimes for Oktoberfest, and I'm wondering if that is... it may not actually be done with beets at all, because it might just be red cabbage. Pickled somehow. My exposure to certain foods is pretty limited. To other foods, it's pretty big, but not necessarily for a lot of European foods. Green borscht? How many colors does green borscht, or how many colors does borscht come in? Let's see. And I know that there's like a soup. There's... oh, borscht is a soup. Okay. Oh. A sour soup. I might actually like that then. It looks pretty. It looks pretty. I think the closest I've come, and this is not going to be close at all, in Final Fantasy XIV, there's... actually, wait, there might be a recipe in the Final Fantasy XIV cookbook. Because I know that they had a wine dark soup in there in the game, which I think was supposed to be a a beet soup. Let's see. White is sour rye, green is sorrel. I don't know what sorrel tastes like. Or sour rye. I suppose when it comes to, like, rye is a grain, right? Because they make alcohol out of it. Then again, you can make alcohol out of a lot of things. Rye. I suppose I don't really know what rye tastes like either. I know what couscous tastes like, and what is the other one? Quinoa, I suppose, and a few other things, but it's mostly just kind of starchiness, isn't it? So, rye. Barley? I think I've had barley more often than rye, but again, I don't exactly know what barley tastes. I don't remember what barley tastes like. So for sour rye, is it simply rye that's been processed or left out for a certain amount of time? I wonder if you can actually hear. You probably can't hear it. Huh. Sorry, the bag also says Chashi approved on it. This is an Ito-en tea. So that's one of the reasons why I picked it up. I thought, it's got to be good. It's Ito-en. And it makes 12 cups. Maggie. We'll see how long it lasts. Boiled eggs and sausage for white. Red has carrots and onions. So one is a bit more, I guess, meaty than the other. Protein filled for the white. Unless I might have to. Yeah, okay, so white would be more protein filled with the eggs and the sausage bit. Thank you for the follow, Tenseller. I'm losing my real estate to this cat. He's slowly pushing everything aside, so the only thing I can do is pet him. He's gonna make it impossible to hold the book. He's gonna make it impossible to hold the book. I will be making soup this week. I think I already have it earmarked though, but maybe later in the week I can look into borscht or seeing if there's a place. Actually, there might be a place nearby that sells borscht. I feel like it wouldn't be that uncommon. Sour cream? I don't often actually add sour cream to a whole lot. I don't keep it around. I know it's very popular for some foods. It was never really a staple for me, for my family. So it still feels a bit. How to put this? So I guess a lot of people put sour cream on their potatoes. I didn't really get that option. I didn't get that option. The big milk products we had were butter and milk and half and half. Lots of half and half. So much half and half. I am slowly running away from the microphone because of this cat. Give me a second. I actually can't. Maybe if I lock the keyboard and tilt it down. Okay. Hopefully that's okay. I can do this all with a mouse and a book. I don't need a keyboard. But lots and lots of half and half for the aforementioned tea. So much tea. So much half and half. If you know what Costco is, Costco size purchases of half and half. What's the other half of half and half? Half milk, half cream. I think. I wasn't the one who drank it. I wasn't the one who drank it. But it would disappear all the same in the household. He's making big purrs. He's making big purrs. I've had some cream in the past, but that's usually for specialty baking. There's some recipes that call for specifically cream, heavy cream, or if you're making fresh cream for something, fruit and cream, dessert, or well, certain kinds of cakes, or icing, like a more of a whipped icing versus a sugary icing. I don't. Oh, oh, oh. You okay? I don't know if you guys. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Oh. He's rubbing his. Sorry, my cat just sneezed like 5 times in a row. Hey. And now he's just wiping his nose. Yeah. Could you hear that? Could you hear the sneezes? I can kind of smell cat sneeze. It's a bit strange. Putting down milk. Not homogenized? Are they able to sell that? Oh, wait, they can. They can. I used to have a milk brand that was, I guess, non homogenized. They have to pasteurize in most places, but they don't have to homogenize it, right? So creamline milk is what they called it where I am. And it was actually a little annoying at times because you would have to break through the cream at the top if it's solidified. But it was very tasty. It was simply a little difficult. I've also had, I think there are a few places that sell raw milk. I don't know how they get away with it. I don't know how they get away with it. So if you're ever in Philadelphia, there is a very famous market there, and there's Amish groups that sell their wares there, and they're able to sell raw milk there, I think. Or non-pasteurized milk. They're not open on Sundays. Do not make the same mistake I did. I've been there multiple times, and the first time it was kind of a case of, oh, we're leaving on Sunday. We should buy the milk there, or on Sunday, like before we leave. Not remembering holiday. Always a holiday for the Amish on Sunday. Yeah. The very next time, though, remember to buy it on a Saturday. Just have to keep it refrigerated. Do not want to be drinking it if it's not been properly cared for. Amish sour cream? I don't remember them having that. I do remember them having, I think, goat milk, though. I don't actually remember what it tasted like in either case. I guess it wasn't, like, particularly overwhelming. It feels bad to say. I don't remember what it tasted like. I'd have to go back and taste it again, I suppose. Yes. There's some farmers markets and Amish bring pies and stuff, and cakes. It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to try. I am going to try and move this one more time if my guest will let me, because it's actually being a bit more annoying than I thought. It's not properly locked. So if I can move this without disturbing him. Oh, it is disturbing him. Come on. He thinks it's a toy. Come on. Come on. It's not a toy. It's not. Ow. Oh, ow. 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 That's gonna leave a mark. Oh. Okay, come on. You can be good. You can be good. Go. Slid to the side. My hands. Ow. He's attacking me again. I think he might actually have to be evicted. Thank you for the water. Let's see if we can calm him down. No, we cannot. I'm going to swap over now to the... Oh. To reading. I think I'll pop open the book. But I'm still going to have someone here with me, so things will hopefully be calm. Hopefully he'll settle down and be good. Now that he has the entire table to himself. I really wonder why it's doing that. Okay, I'll move this over here. So we're going to be reading about monsters. Reading about the Dark Woods. Good. You be good. I'm gonna have to actually move that. How am I gonna do that? Thank you for the follow, Anubis. Thank you for the follow. But maybe if I do this. Swap this real quick. I'm actually going to need the keyboard. What? Okay, nope, that didn't work. That didn't work as I had hoped. That's frustrating. Okay. No. Be good. Hello, Anubis. How are you doing? I'm just about to start reading about monster settings. It might look a little strange, though, tonight. The settings seem to be a little different than normal. So, I have to change this. To change where it's grabbing the audio from for this. It's no longer going to be through there, it's going to be through here. Because we're going to be in the Dark Woods. As we're in the Dark Woods. Let's bring that up a little bit. Thank you for the follow, Cerulean. I had a pretty good day. I've had a pretty good day so far. Aside from this cat. This cat is a bit much today. Okay, maybe I should turn that down just a little bit. Turn it down to here. Hopefully that's good. Thank you for the follow, Cerulean and Captain Nerdbeard. Yes, this is my cat. His name is Ziggy, and he is a jerk. And sometimes a very good boy. Right now, he's being very good. About 5 minutes ago, he's being very bad. Very bad. But right now, he's wrapped up in my arms, so he might make reading a little bit difficult for me. It's a really good day today. I managed to acquire some new tea. I'm not certain if I really like it yet, but I might just have to adjust. And thank you, Mr. Cat. It's been doing pretty well. I stream every Sunday at 5-ish. Sometimes it starts a little later. Sometimes it does start a little later. And I don't think I've ever actually been on time at 5 p.m., but one day I'll be on time. One day I'll be on time. Let's see. What else? People's schedules tend to change quite a bit. Especially if you're a student, right? every season it changes. Lucy and Stitch, as in Lilo and Stitch for Stitch. I think I've learned my lesson about naming computers or naming things after the devil. My very first computer of my own, actually, I named Lucifer. It was the very first time I interacted with the computer, before I even knew it was going to be mine, it was acting up. It was a terror. I think, I distinctly remember it was a present from my elder brother. It was a used computer of his. Way back when 10 gigs was a huge amount of space for a hard drive. And there were sounds coming from his room, like annoying beeping noises, and it was from this computer. I had to figure out how to turn it off while he wasn't around. Not a good first impression. And I think that everything that I've named after a devil after that point has lived up to that nomenclature. So I switched to angel names instead for my computer parts and computers, my devices. Seems like it's worked a little better. Except for the Surface Books. Except for the Surface Books. And Ziggy is named after Ziggy Stardust. He's got a splash up his nose. It's not quite as pictured here, but it's kind of close. His is more skewed to the side. His blaze. But he's like a shark. He's gray on top and white on the bottom. Like a great white shark. But he is not a monster. I mean, he is a monster. But he's not a monster from Dungeon World. So let's see. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. I can. Okay. So the monster setting 4 is Darkwoods. Before, what I have been doing, hopefully this still works. Yep, okay. Oh, it's a little strange. Why is it strange? Shouldn't be showing the right side there. But I've been doing a tier list of the monsters as we've been going through them. After every section, I've been putting them on the tier list. I've been putting them on the tier list. That's a bit unusual. And then ranking them afterwards. I feel like I can't properly rank them until I've read about all of them in a section. At the same time, I often have to reread afterwards. Okay, let's see. So, for Darkwoods, the very first monster is the Assassin Vine. Hello, Araxis. How are you doing? I've not been called Evening Prim before. I've not been called Evening Prim before. Let's see. So the Assassin Vine is solitary, stealthy, and amorphous. Its thorns do D10 damage, one of which is piercing. It has 15 hit points and 1 armor. The tags for it, otherwise, are close, reach, and messy. Special qualities, plant. I feel like we're going to be seeing that quite a bit in the Darkwoods. Special qualities, plants. Writing, gaming, chilling. It's quite late for you, isn't it? I know this is the one stream where the Europeans may or may not stop by because of the time zone difference. So it's probably what, like midnight for you, or even later. Even later. Shouldn't you be asleep? Not that I'm your keeper. 1 a.m. Hello, Squug. How are you doing? Assassin Vine. Among the animals, there exists a clear division between hunter and hunted. All it takes is a glance to know, by fangs and glowing eyes or claws or venomous sting, which of the creatures of this world are meant to kill and which stand to be killed. Such a split, if you have the eyes to see it, cuts the world of leaves and flowers in twain as well. Druids in their forest circles know it. Rangers, too, might spot such a plant before it's too late. Layfolk, though, they wander where they oughtn't. Paths into the deep woods covered in creeping vines, and with a snap, these hungry ropes snap tight, dragging their meaty prey into the underbrush. Mind your feet, traveler. Instinct to grow. Moves include shoot forth new growth, attack the unwary. Insomnia. I get that sometimes too, really early in the morning. And writing. Oh, that's right. I was reading something. Someone was asking about things I'd read recently. So, I've been reading a bit about... Okay, I should specify. I'm reading fan fiction about King Arthur in Legends. Not the actual fictions, but fiction based on that fiction. So it's like 3 levels deep of fan fiction, I suppose. Does that count as reading? It's not something I read a whole lot about, but right now it's interesting. Reading is reading. Not all reading is quite the same, though, is it? Not all reading is quite the same. Reminds me, I do something. I set something up. A little King Arthur smut. Look, it's not King Arthur smut. It's Gawain smut. It's Gawain smut. And also, it's not all smut. And it's not like the originals aren't full of, I don't want to say controversial material. Gossip rag stuff, anyway, when you look into it at all. Look at Gawain and the Green Knight. Look at that. And tell me that isn't lascivious on its own. I'm really surprised that for a Fate Grand Order they don't have a Green Knight in there. Or a reference to it somewhere. Where their Gawain feels very... it feels a little different from the Gawain in the stories that I've read. Okay. The second one. The second entry into Dark Woods is Blink Dog. Which I thought was a more specific thing. I thought that was perhaps something that was from the OGL, Blink Dog. I wonder if it is or not. I feel like it can't be if it's included in this. Blink Dog. Group, small, magical, organized. A bite for D8 damage. 6 hit points. 4 armor. And for other tags, it has close. Special qualities, illusion. Thank you for the follow, Strixor. I wonder how long this cat is going to stay. He seems happy now. Blink Dog. Now you see it, now you don't. Hounds once owned by a sorcerer lord and imbued with a kind of illusory cloak, they escaped into the woods around his lair and began to breed with wolves and wild dogs of the forest. You can spot them, if you're lucky, by the glittering silver of their coats and their strange, ululating howls. They have a remarkable talent for not being quite where they appear to be, and use it to take down prey much stronger than themselves. If you find yourself facing a pack of blink dogs, you might as well close your eyes and fight. You'll have an easier time when not betrayed by your natural sight. By such sorceries are the natural places of the world polluted with unnatural things. Instinct to hunt. Oh, actually, this isn't working right. Why is it not working right? Is it It's referencing the wrong file. It's referencing the wrong file. Give me a second. What? No wonder. I switched where it was going to. That should be updated. It should be okay, not 100% updated apparently. I wonder why. If it just is taking a second. Oh, it's the wrong file. So if I do this instead. Okay. Is it really this? I suppose it is. Okay, it's up to date. Thank you for the follows as well, Deadlock Dreamers and Luke Not. So, the Blink Dog gives the appearance, or rather, special other moves that it has, give the appearance of being somewhere they're not, summon the pack, move with amazing speed. I think I just realized that for my entire previous stream it had the same issue as well. Oh, what is it doing? That should be fine. Thank you for the follow, Charlotte's Web. So the next monster is a centaur. And also, I'm defining these as monsters, as the book does. The reasoning is that, in this case, a monster is anything that stands between the players and their objective. So it's not necessarily indicative of any sort of special monstrous qualities that it has. It's just something between. The players and their needs, their wants. So any sort of creature can be a monster. A local priest could be a monster, even though he's good aligned. That sort of thing. You like mythical stuff? Good news, good news. The dark woods is full of mystical things. I wonder if this is gonna work. Although, mythical versus fantastical. Mythical kind of implies a sort of larger than life quality to it, doesn't it? Things of myths, things of legend, going hand in hand. Not all these necessarily qualify for that, do they? Does an assassin vine count as mythical? It is fantastical. I'll grant you that. Okay, let's see. Centaur. Horde. Large. Organized. Intelligent. I can't. Okay, there's something I wanted to see, but I can't. It's too far away. Not when one of my hands is pinned down with this cat. So, the centaur carries a bow, which does d6 plus 2 damage and 1 piercing. 11 hit points per centaur, with 1 armor. Tags includes close, reach, and near. Special qualities include half horse, half man. They never really describe the special qualities very much, but they're not really meant to. You're supposed to glean everything from the special quality. The name of it. Okay. Centaur. It will be a gathering of clans unseen in this age. Call Stormhoof and Bright Spear. Summon Whitemane and Iron Flanks. Sound the horn and we shall begin our meeting. We shall speak the words and bind our people together. Too long have the men cut the ancient trees for their ships. The elves are weak and cowardly. Friends to these mannish slime. It will be a cleansing fire from the darkest woods. Raise the red banner of war. Today we strike back against these apes and retake what is ours. Instinct to rage. Not all elves are weak and cowardly. I don't know what they're talking about in here. I guess this must be a Dungeon World thing. So, other special moves of the Centaur is Overrun them, Fire Perfect Bullseye, and move with unrelenting speed. I was going to give them a higher ranking, but now after reading that description, I don't know. They might be knocked down a peg. Oh, hello, Arjudist. I've had this model for a little over a month now. A little over a month. I did a bit of an okay. I did a debut, but I only gave a week's notice in December. Only a week's notice. And I don't often do a lot of the other things. I don't do long build-ups. My original debut was not really announced. Things just happen as they happen. And I also I had like one new asset to go along with the model, and that's just the in-between the BRB screen. I do have an order out for a new starting screen, but wow, these things can take a while. You please understand. But yes, my mother and father did very good work. A lot of range. A lot of range. I can do a lot with just my face, not needing toggles. Although I realize I think I have a little bit of difficulty making a sad face naturally. It seems to get interpreted as angry a lot. Like, okay, I'm gonna try and make a sad face, I guess. No, that's not sad. That wasn't sad. I can't stop myself from smiling. I can't do it with my eyebrows, not with my eyes open. Okay, I guess I can do it for a briefest of seconds, but other times I'm just kind of... I'm doing that a lot. I find myself doing that a lot. And... But it can make a sad face. I'm just limited as a person, as an elf. I'm limited in my sad face. Actually, there are some games that I could probably very easily make a sad face at, but at the same time, do I really want to cry again on stream? I don't really think so. I don't really think so. So the next creature on the list, after the Centaur. Chaos Ooze. Hello, T-Nash. How are you doing? So, Chaos Ooze. Solitary, Planner, Terrifying, Amorphous. It has a Warping Touch for D10 damage. And this ignores armor. Ignores armor. 23 hit points, 1 armor. And for other attacks, it has close. I'm doing good. I'm almost through with my first cup of tea for the night. It's it needs sugar or something. Actually, I wonder. This might actually be really good for fruit bubble tea, like a fruit milk tea. Now that I think about it. I do have bubbles, but they're a bit of a pain to make, like tapioca pearls, boba. So I don't make it very often. I'd rather just order it. No, thank you for the follow, ability. But this might be good. It's like a sweet fruit milk tea. I feel like Americans don't really do the milk fruit tea type thing, or like fruity milk. I guess strawberry milk is the closest, and even then it's niche, isn't it? Strawberry milk versus chocolate milk or plain milk. Or even vanilla milk, right? That's a thing. I've seen pumpkin spice milk too, but only during certain seasons. Or rather, during the season. I feel like I've also seen banana milk. But then again, that may have also been a Japan type of thing. I'm going to mute myself real quick so I can snap something into place. I was mute. That explains a lot. I was mute. Oh, actually, I should mute again so I can let. He's leaving. He is leaving the garden. I was mute again. I was talking mute. It's not a good day for that. I hope I don't have to go mute too many more times. Special qualities. Ooze, fragments of the other planes embedded in it. The barrier between Dungeon World and the elemental planes is not, as you might hope, a wall of stone. It's much more porous. Places where the civil races do not often tread can sometimes, how to put this, spring a leak. Like a dam, come just a little loose. Bits and pieces of the chaos spill out. Sometimes they'll congeal like an egg on a pan. That's where we get the material for many of the guild's magical trinkets. Useful, right? Sometimes, though, it squirms and squishes around a bit and stays that way, warping all it touches into some other strange form. Chaos begets chaos, and it grows. Instinct to change. Other special moves include cause a change in appearance or substance, or briefly bridge the planes. So, a lone ooze that can cause your players to slip through. Just imagining, and it can cause a change in appearance or substance. So it can change what it touches, I guess. That's what it sounds like. So that could definitely be a problem that heroes could try to solve. Trying to figure out what to do with this kind of creature. But again, if they mishandle it, they're not in the same plane as the problem anymore. Unless it slips there with them. Can it invert itself, I wonder? Thank you for the follow, Aurahers. I like that concept. I like that concept a lot. Even though it's not intelligent, it might go up high on the list. Okay, the next thing is the cockatrice, which is group, small, and hoarder. Hoarder? Really? A cockatrice? Is that really a thing for them? Like a common bit in their legends. The beak does d8 damage and has 6 hit points and 1 armor. It has a range of close. The special qualities is stone touch. Touch? Is it really touch and not visual? I wonder. Unless I'm mixing up, there's basilisk too, right? And that's a looking thing rather than a touching thing. So I suppose it will depend on whether or not we run across a basilisk later in this. It won't be in this section because we're already up to C for cockatrice. I also want to say that there are no images in this. It's a free release. You could play Dungeon World at any point you want to. Let me grab the link for this SRD, actually. It's probably a good idea. SRD link. With the whole issue with D&D right now, there are completely free alternatives you can try out. In Dungeon World, so the one I'm reading right now is one of them, which is why I'm able to read it right now and put this up on YouTube later. Yes. It is free. It's free. It has a very good section on DMing. I say DMing. Game mastering in this case. Like, you're still, I guess, a DM. It's all the same concept, really. Different phrasing to keep it a bit separate, though. But even if you're not necessarily going to play it, reading the bits on how to run games in this book is useful outside of this particular game. And honestly, reading the rules for Dungeon World, it feels like running this game would be easier than running a game of D&D. I've run D&D games in the past. I've been a game master, a dungeon master for 2 years. I was a dungeon master for 2 years. And sometimes it's a bit difficult. The rules that they give as dungeon master are a bit more amorphous, let's say. But here it's a bit more, I shouldn't say strict, you can still bend things. It's just that they give more of a framework for you to use. There's a stronger framework. And there's no pretty pictures for the monsters. Again, I think licensing for that would be difficult for so many monsters. So went with only text descriptions. And even then, the text descriptions that I've given out, how many of them have really been describing the appearance versus other elements, other things that the beast, the creature, the monster inspires? So for the cockatrice, the description. Again, description, loose word. Very loose word in this term. I ain't ever seen such a thing, sir. Roderick thought it was a chicken, maybe. Poor Roderick. I figured it to be a lizard of some sort, though he was right. It had a beak and grey feathers like a chicken. Right, well, see, we found it in the woods, in the nest at the foot of a tree where we were out with the sow. Looking for mushrooms, sir. I told Roderick we were. Yes, sir. Right, sir. The bird. See, it was glaring at Roderick, and he tried to scare it off with a stick to steal the eggs, but the thing pecked his hand. Quick it was, too. I tried to get him away, but he just got slower and slower and... Yes, as you see him now, sir. All frozen up, just like when we left the dog out overnight in winter 2 years back. Poor, stupid Roderick. Weren't no bird or lizard, were it, sir? Instinct to defend the nest. And its special abilities, or rather, its special moves, start a slow transformation to stone. So it really is, in this case, a touch-based element. Next up is the Dryad. I've been called a Dryad sometimes. It's not true. It's not true. I'm not a Dryad. A Dryad is solitary, magical, intelligent, and devious. For attacks, it has Crushing Vines, which is... Sorry, just the wording for this is a little unusual, so I'm trying to remember what it stands for. It's been a number of weeks since I've had to interpret it. Let me check. It's not tag index. It's not the index. Okay. So they use different nomenclature than I'm used to for that. Ink. To double check. Okay. Darkwoods. Let's flip back. Do the try. Okay. I wanted to make sure. So in some cases, it's, well, in D&D 5, it's advantage and disadvantage for roll 2 and take the higher or lower. Here, it is best or worst of the dice. And it could also be theoretically like drop X, like drop lower, drop higher. But no, B or W. So Crushing Vines, you take the worst roll of 2d8, and that's how much damage it is. Dryads have 12 hit points and 2 armor, and their range is only close. And special qualities, plant. Dryad. More beautiful by far than any man or woman born in the civil realms. To gaze upon one is to fall in love. Deep and punishing, too. Thing is, they don't love. Not the fleshy folk who often find them, anyway. Their love is a primal thing, married to the woods, to a great oak that serves as home and mother and sacred place to them. It's a curse to see one too. They'll never love you back, no matter what you do. No matter how you pledge yourself to them, they'll always spurn you. If ever their oak comes to harm, you've not only the Dryad's wrath to contend with, but in every nearby village there's a score of men with a secret longing in their hearts, ready to murder you where you sleep for just a smile from such a creature. Instinct to love nature passionately. Special moves for a Dryad include Entice a Mortal, Merge into a Tree, and Turn Nature against them. I like Dryads as well. Again, I like intelligent creatures when it comes to the monsters. Depending on how you play them though, I think there's room to play around with the concept of love with a Dryad. As I said, they don't really love like mortals do, like humans or elves even. So I think if you could work around that, maybe they do love a human, but not again as the human loves them. That could be something fun to play with. But then again, at the same time, that's a touchy subject for a lot of games, so I guess it would need to be something that you would want to know your player group before you broach that kind of subject. The next thing is the Eagle Lord. They are group, large, organized, and intelligent. They have talons which do the better of 2d8 damage. I'm sorry, better of 2d8 and then +1 damage. And they have 1 piercing, 10 hit points, and 1 armor. And they are able to get by with close and reach. We haven't seen too much reach in the past. In the woods, that is. But I guess the woods are dark and cloying. And you aren't necessarily able to see super far in the woods. So it makes sense that there wouldn't be too many creatures near that have, too many monsters that have farther than reach. Which I guess makes the centaurs. The centaurs are one of them because they have the ability to have a perfect bullseye, right? Near. Okay, so near. They still can't reach far. Let's see. We have the cockatrice to try. Let's flip back to the Eagle Lord. The Eagle Lord's special qualities are mighty wings. Some the size of horses. Vigor even, the kings and queens of the eagles. Their cry pierces the mountain sky, and woe to those who fall under the shadow of their mighty wings. The ancient wizards forged a pact with them in the primordial days. Men would take the plains and valleys and leave the mountain tops to the Eagle Lords. These sacred pacts should be honored, lest they set their talons to you. Lucky are the elves, for the makers of their treaties yet live, and when danger comes to elvish lands, the Eagle Lords often serve as spies and outs for them. Long-lived and proud, some might be willing to trade their ancient secrets for the right price, too. Instinct to rule the heights. Special moves include attack from the sky, pull someone into the air, and call on ancient oaths. Next creature, the Elvish Warrior. Horde, intelligent, organized. They have swords, which do the better of 2d6 damage. Or the best out of 2d6 damage. 3 hit points, 2 armor. and they have a range of close. Special qualities include sharp sense. That's it? That's all we're gonna give the Elvish warriors? Hmm. Another unusual entry. This is all a quote. As with all things they undertake, the elves approach war as an art. I saw them fight once. The Battle of Ashford's Vale. Yes, I am that old boy. Now hush. A warrior maiden, she was clad in plate that shone like the winter sky. White hair streaming and a pennant of ocean blue tied to her spear. She seemed to glide between the trees the way an angel might, striking out and bathing her blade in blood that steamed in the cold air. I had never felt so small before. I trained with the Master at Arms of Battlemore, you know. I've held a sword longer than you've been alive, boy, and in that one moment, I knew that my skill meant nothing. Thank the gods, the elves were with us then. A more beautiful and terrible thing I have never seen. Instinct to seek perfection. Special moves include strike at a weak point, set ancient plans in motion, and use the woods to advantage. Thank you, Elementus, for the follow. To seek perfection, though, for an elvish warrior, I suppose that makes sense. All I can think of with this, though, is it sounds like a description of Helene. Or Helone? I still don't know how to pronounce it. White hair. Long white hair. Next is another elf. It is the Elvish High Arcanist. Solitary, magical, intelligent, organized. Oh, I just reread the Elvish Warrior. 3 hit points for Elvish Warrior. 3. It's tiny. The Elvish High Arcanist, though, is much stronger in terms of hit points. So they were solitary, magical, intelligent, and organized. Thank you, Boniface, for the gifted sub. Welcome to the garden, public use human toilet. So the Elvish High Arcanist, they have Arcane Fire, which deals D10 damage, which ignores armor. So magnanimous. Hello, President Rat. I want to say, President Rat. I think I've seen you around before. Maybe in the Rat Czar space? Give me a second. I think there's someone crying. Water? Okay. Posture check. I will have some tea. Oh, I need to. Have some tea. And I think that someone is begging to be let in again. Give me a second. I have the worst child with me once more. Thank you for the follow, President Rat. And this also serves as a posture check, having to get up to the gate to let the worst child in. Will he stay? Will he come into my arms? Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Yes. Into the arms. Yes. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't do that. He was rubbing into the mic. Thank you, Party Shiva, for the follow. Okay. This might be. Oh, oh, oh. No, 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 no. What? Okay, sorry. I'm trying to get him to settle before I stretch. I'm trying to cuddle him into submission. And it's not working. It's not working. Come on. Be good. Be good. Otherwise, he's going to try and eat the mic again. Or something even worse. Right? Come on. I guess this is as good as time as any to stretch. Okay, can I get any? No, I can't get any cracks in. I don't think. Ow. I don't think my neck was supposed to crick like that. Okay. Mostly stretched. And can I entice him to stay in my arms once more? Will this work? I wonder if I should change the time on Sundays, because it's coming up to his feeding time, and he always seems to bother me on Sundays when I'm doing this. Okay. Go. Back to the cat again. Wait. I want to say that was probably accurate, that face tracking. It was kind of lost a little bit, but I was trying to squish him. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Be good. Be good. No. He's settling in a different spot than I expected. This will work out, though. She's angry. The cat is angry today. Okay. The Elvish Higher Arcanist. True Elvis magic. Did I say Elvis magic? I'm so sorry. Okay, special qualities is sharp senses for the Elvish High Arcanist. I just realized that I probably didn't cover that. I think it went up to the ignores armor section. So the Elvish High Arcanist has 12 hit points and 0 armor, with a range of near and far. So nothing close. And no reach. And just kinda, well, near and then far. Special quality, sharp senses. True Elvish magic isn't like the spells of men. Mannish wizardry is all rote and formula. They cheat to find the arcane secrets that resound all around them. They are deaf to the arcane symphony that sings in the woods. Elvish magic requires a fine ear to hear that symphony and the voice with which to sing, to harmonize with what is already resounding. Men bind the forces of magic to their will. Elves simply pluck the strings and hum along. The High Arcanists, in a way, have become more or less than any elf. The beat of their blood is the throbbing of all magic in this world. Instinct to unleash power. This cat is trying to do his own ASMR in the corner. No. Thank you for the water. I have just a bit more left of this one first round of tea. Thank you. Okay, I have a little bit more tea. And thank you, it's Perez, for the follow. So the instinct is to unleash power. Special moves include work the magic that nature demands and cast forth the elements. Work the magic that nature demands. So in this case, just the type of magic that they do might be a bit more less what they want, I guess, it sounds like. Unless they're able to manipulate nature. As I said, man makes magic do what it wants. The elves go with the flow a bit. So it sort of sounds like they don't have as much control necessarily over it, which is a bit strange. Oh, but this is all flavor. Anyway, you can throw flavor out if you want to. You can throw flavor out. Okay, you can't see me. I guess I have to stick out my tongue like really far for you to see that. Okay, we're back actually to the book. The cat is just trying to make a nuisance of himself in the background. Next up is the griffin. It is group, large, and organized. It has talents, with which it does d8 plus 3 damage, 10 hit points, and 1 armor. Its tags for ranges is close, reach, and forceful. Special qualities are wings. You can kind of see how pained I am by this. So, for Griffin. On first glance, one might mistake the Griffin for another magical mistake like the Manticore or the Chimera. It looks the part, doesn't it? These creatures have the regal haughtiness of a lion and the arrogant bearing of an eagle, but they temper those with the unshakable loyalty of both. You can hear him. You can hear him. What am I supposed to do? What am I meant to do? It's not it's not feeding time for him yet. I'm going to let him out. I cannot win. I cannot win. Okay. To earn the friendship of a griffin is to have an ally all your living days. Truly a gift that, if you're ever lucky enough to meet one, be respectful and deferential above all else. It may not seem it, but they can perceive the subtlest slights and will answer them with a sharp beak and talons. Instinct to serve allies. Special moves include judge someone's worthiness, carry an ally aloft, and strike from above. Thank you, Tivad, for the follow as well. Next up is the Hill Giant. It is group, huge, intelligent, and organized. For its hacks, it has thrown rocks for d6 plus 3 damage. Is this really a forest, dark woods creature, Hill Giant? I think they might be taking it a little lightly there. A hill giant has 10 hit points and 1 armor, with ranges of reach, near, and far, and additional tag of forceful when it comes to damage. Ever seen an ogre before? Bigger than that. Dumber and meaner too. Hope you like having cows thrown at you. Instinct, ruin, everything. Special moves include throw something, do something stupid, and shake the earth. Do something stupid. Oh, and speaking of ogre, so they describe a little bit about an ogre and hill giant right before they get into ogre, which is the next entry in the bestiary here. Ogre. Group, large, intelligent. Really? Wait, hold on. So, both the hill giants and the ogre are group creatures. I've never really seen them run like that. I think I've seen them more so as independent. And also the intelligent tag, though. They describe them as dumber and meaner, and they even have one of their moves be do something stupid, but they are marked as intelligent. So I guess the boundary for intelligence is really, really low. Thank you, Mitsuki. It must be super low. I wonder what is the dumbest thing in here that has an intelligent tag. It must be the hill giant. They already described the hill giant as dumber than an ogre. Thank you for the follow, Mitsuki. Mitsuki-hu. So an ogre, group, large, intelligent, has a club for d8 plus 5 damage, 10 hit points, and 1 armor. And for additional tags, it has close, reach, and forceful. A tale then. Somewhere in the not-so-long history of the Mannish race, there was a divide. In days when men were merely dwellers in the mud with no magic to call their own, they split in two. One camp left their caves in the dark forests and built the first city to honor the gods. The others, a wild and savage lot, retreated into darkness. They grew there. In the deep woods, a grim loathing for their softer kin gave them strength. They found dark gods of their own, there in the woods and hills. Ages passed, and they bred tall and strong and full of hate. We have forged steel, and they match it with their savagery. We may have forgotten our common roots, but somewhere, deep down, the ogres remember. Instinct to return the world to darker days. Additional moves include destroy something, fly into a rage, and take something by force. Forgot how to type. That's okay. Sometimes I forget how to speak. Sometimes I forget how to speak. And oftentimes when I'm typing here, I feel like whenever I'm put on the spot for a shout out, I have to be very careful typing. But ogres being a split off from the human race. That's not something that they usually go for, is it? In terms of other mythologies or other fantastical mythologies. More commonly, they're a giant offshoot, right? It's also very much reads, I haven't watched this myself, but is it The Descent a bit? Except less cave dwellers and more giant creatures. But at the same time, it would be difficult to be a large creature in caves, right? It's not impossible, that is to say. It's just, it's more difficult. It doesn't feel supernatural for there to be large creatures in the caverns, but I guess that also would make them a lot more scary. That would make them a lot more scary. And the concept that they remember what we do not. That hatred. And also building the first city to honor the gods. Oh, that sounds so... how to put it? It sounds super fake. It sounds super fake that they did that. That was the reason why it was the first. Sorry, trying to find something. It does not sound realistic. We built the first city to honor the gods, and not, wow, for completely mundane reasons. A human wrote this. I can tell. A human wrote this. Actually, they must have, right? Because it says, we have done this. We may have forgotten our common roots. It's a human. It's a human. A historian human. The next creature is a razor boar. It is solitary. It has tusks for D10 damage and 3 piercing, 16 hit points, and 1 armor. A razor bar? I guess? Comparing that against the Arcanist or some of the other creatures, just 16 hit points, that's quite the boar. That's impressive. Tags include close, messy. Give me a second, I have to take care of something. Oh, you can still hear it. The tusks of the razor boar shred metal plates like so much tissue. Voracious, savage, and unstoppable, they tower over their mundane kin. To kill one, a greater trophy of bravery and skill is hard to name, though I hear a razor boar kill the drunkard king in a single thrust. You think you're a better hunter than he? Instinct to shred. Special moves include rip them apart and rend armor and weapons. Okay, next is a satyr. A satyr is group, devious, magical, hoarder. They have for their attack a charge, which is the worst of 2d8 damage, 10 hit points, and 1 armor, and a range only of close. The boar was also only close, right? It was close, but it was also messy. The satyr also has a special quality of enchantment. I wonder what that's for. Satyr. One of only a very few creatures to be found in the old woods that don't outright want to maim, kill, or eat us. They dwell in glades pierced by the sun, and dance on their funny goat legs to enchanting music played on pipes made of bone and silver. They smile easily, and, so long as you please them with jokes and sport, will treat our kind with friendliness. They have a mean streak, though, so if you cross them, or make haste elsewhere, very few things hold a grudge like the stubborn satyr. Instinct to enjoy. Other special moves include pull others into revelry through magic, force gifts upon them, Play jokes with illusions and tricks. Force gifts. Force gifts upon them so they make other people give them things. Oh, thank you for the head pat. Just thinking about, how would that work? I guess they might try to use wording to imply that they... I suppose this depends on how frank your party is. If they're the kind to play nice with NPCs, or if they just don't play nice with them at all. But there's certainly the kinds of people who... say they like something and kind of hint very strongly or word something as if you should give it to them, aren't there, in real life? You have something nice, therefore I deserve it because I'm better than you. Something kind of like that. I wonder if that's the kind of tack that a satyr would take. Oh, wait. This is the kind of thing that you would need to research. Narcissism, right? There are groups for that, for support. That would be the kind of thing that I would probably look up for a satyr, for how to act the part. I guess that would go hand in hand with the hedonist lifestyle of a satyr, wouldn't it? Or is that too... are they still two concepts that are too far apart? Narcissism and hedonism. Sprite. Sprite is the next creature on the list. It is not that kind of sprite. It's not like the drink. Sprite. Horde, tiny, stealthy, magical, devious, intelligent. It has a dagger with which it does damage. The worst of 2d8s. That's it. Very small. 2d4, not 2d8. That would be a really big dagger for a sprite. 2d4, the worst of 2d4 damage. They only have 3 hit points, the same as an elvish warrior. And they're also horde creatures, I think. Wait, was the elvish warrior horde as well? It was. It was. And it has 0 armor. And the reach is hand. That's it, hand. Thank you for the follow, Alex Marsh. Why is it called Sprite? I'm sorry, I read a little bit ahead here. So what exactly is a sprite? Let me take a quick... There's a lot of different names for fairies. So like a sprite and a brownie. Okay, so a sprite could be theoretically an elf, a fairy, or a pixie. It's a supernatural entity in European folklore. It's a fairy. Or fairy-like. It is in that kind of family. An ethereal creature. A goblin. A goblin in some cases is also a fairy. So there's also the concept of a goblin market, which doesn't make sense with the D&D sensibility of a goblin, but when you consider a goblin as a fairy, it makes a lot of sense. So a lot of times when it comes to... No, fairies don't necessarily need wings. Fairies don't need wings. And thank you, Unbranded, for the follow. Let's see. What counts as a fairy? What counts as a fairy? What are some things? A changeling, I think, could count as a fairy, could it not? And changelings do not have wings. Never seen a goblin with wings? Hey, folklore. And I don't think that the beautiful people, pretty people, the Aushi, have wings either. What makes a fairy a fairy? They're not like humans, essentially. That seems to be the gist of it, honestly. Creatures of legends that are not human but intelligent seems to be a great big deal of it. Also, they may or may not be from the same world as us, depending. And it depends from group to group. It could be any magical creature. But human-like appearance seems to be a strong thing. You would not necessarily call, say... you wouldn't call it a cockatrice a fairy. It's not human enough. But a brownie, a goblin, those are human enough. A banshee could be considered a fairy. But again, each group, each culture has a different definition of fairy. Slightly. Some might be a bit more broad than others. Yes. So a banshee is a fairy. A boggart is a fairy. A brownie is a fairy. A bugbear. A catchee. A dullahan. An elf. A kobold. A knocker. All these things could be fairies. Or are fairies. If I could be something other, I'm an elf already. I'm happy with being an elf, though. Fae folklore. A can of Mountain Dew is a fairy. Just thinking about that. I don't know a whole lot about American fairies, if there's such a thing. Aside from imports. I know that there are American tall tales, right? That's not quite the same thing, though. It would make sense, though, that they would have imported Scottish fairies, though. That's a big thing in the Appalachians, aren't there? Nationalities, yeah. For instance, Banshee is an Irish type of fairy. I don't really think that they have that concept elsewhere. When it comes to kobold, that is more specific. There's also Spriggans. Kobold is Germanic. It's a German fairy. Let's see. What else? Nekolevi is a... Orcadian? What is Arcadian? Oh, it's from the Orkney Islands. Okay. And we were just reading before about another creature, although I guess it doesn't necessarily count as a fairy. For instance, I don't think vampires usually count as fairies, but it might be a case of where it comes from, honestly. But fairy is a strong word used in European folklore for describing supernatural creatures. So they might not want to define creatures from outside these areas as fairies, necessarily. Vampires? You wanted to be a vampire as a child? Did you watch Mina and the Vampire? Was that it? I think being a vampire as a kid would be very rough. Even later on, I played through Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, and I wouldn't want to be a vampire. I would not want to be a vampire. It seems like I have a long lifespan as an elf. I don't think I would want an endless lifespan as a vampire. Vampire Diaries. Is that the one that's set in the South? What clan bloodline am I? Oh, for Vampire the Masquerade Coteries, I went with Ventru. I went with Ventru. I went down that path. I only did one path. It took me a couple streams to get through it. The streams are up actually on my YouTube. Maybe not all of them. I think I still have to upload the last few. Let me see. Oh, but some of it is in there. I also went through one run of Werewolf, Heart of the Forest, a long, long time ago. Both of these were back when I was PNGs, for the most part. I think I had 1 or 2 streams for Vampire Coteries as a live 2D. But mostly as a PNG. And thank you, Nefarious Noctilus, for the follow. And thank you, Mike Devil, for the follow. I would have gone for a Toreador, but I didn't. I wanted to play a female character more than anything else. I wanted to play a female character. I'm glad that I picked the Ventru. It was not my first choice necessarily, but I think it worked out in the end. I would like to play through Werewolf again. Initially I was going for a balanced run for Werewolf, but ended up doing high rage options, which eventually, you know how that kind of game ends. It's, I don't know how much more in the game I missed from that run, honestly, but I lived as a, what was it? I think it was Geta Fenris. I lived as a Geta Fenris lived, and I died as a Geta Fenris died. Mind manipulation? It was more so the backgrounds. The put upon office lady was a fun act to put on. I want to say a period is not all blood, you know? A lot of it's actually other liquid. So it might actually be a little gross because it's not all blood. It's not pure blood. And that's how it can be like I mean, then it's kind of like tainted blood. That's not super enticing, I feel like. Like, especially for a Ventru or someone. And we learned in the game that they're a bit picky. They can be, even the Toreadors can be picky. Like, this blood is the best bouquet of the city. How could you not want this? But I don't know that for certain. I'm just making an educated guess. And there's also just the like texture of it. It's not textured quite the same as regular blood because of the additional fluid. Yes, the Vamp Coteries was a little different than Werewolf because it wasn't quite as obvious some of the paths through. I'm an elf. I'm a plant-based elf. Elf-based plant? No, I'm not an elf-based plant. I'm an elf first and a plant second. I don't even look. Teeth. I don't have sharp teeth. I don't have sharp teeth. Let's see. Sharp teeth are cool, but they don't fit all concepts. I think it's good to know tact and where some things are not needed. And for a plant, would you really expect sharp teeth? I'm not a Venus flytrap. I'll leave it to the predatory type VTubers to have sharp teeth. Speaking of which, I think that someone is debuting today. I think they might be debuting right now. Sorry, there's a fox girl, a kitsune girl, who's debuting today. I would expect her to have sharp teeth. Do long ears give me better hearing? I'd like to think so. But what would I compare it against? A human? I think I would have better hearing than a human. But I don't have too many comparison points there. So the sprite. A sprite. So the special qualities for a sprite. Can you hear him in the backgrounds? I have good hearing. I can hear him. I can't tell if you guys can hear him though. If chat can hear him. The crier in the dark. He's intermittent. Yes, did you hear meow the past minutes? He's begging. He's begging. He doesn't get fed for another 4 minutes at least. Let's see. So Sprite has special qualities of wings and fey magic. He wants food. I know he has a girly cry, but he's a boy. Sprite. I'd classify them elementals, except that being annoying isn't an element. Imagine if you did have a chart of elements. So, instead of the typical elements, what if there were emotional elements? Maybe emotional isn't the right word for it. If being annoying was an element, what would the other elements be? Is being annoying equal to water? Air? It might be an air type thing. I think a short fuse would be for fire as a replacement. The instinct for a sprite is to play tricks. Other special things that include special moves: play a trick to expose someone's true nature, confuse their senses, craft an illusion. I don't really know if cats have a sense of gender, honestly. So I can't say for certain for that. It's just a bit funny. Everyone I know treats them as a girl at first until I tell them, no, he's a boy. He just has a particularly feminine meow, apparently. And the appearance with the pink. He's white and gray, so I think the pink belly and the pink markings on the face tends to tilt people towards that. Or maybe it's I'm thinking too hard about that and it's simply dogs are boys and cats are girls. That's something that I heard a lot of people were confused about when they were children, and they might still apply that sort of feeling to animals. Next up is the Treants. Oh, thank you for the water. That's actually going to be the end of my tea. And after I finish the trance, I'm going to take a quick break because I have to feed him. I have to feed the monster. A spritzing. So the Treant is group, huge, intelligent, and amorphous. For its hack, it has Walloping Branches, or D10 plus 5 damage, 21 hit points. I think that's the biggest monster we've seen so far in terms of hit points, and also D10 plus 5 damage. That's quite a bit. 4 armor. That's also very strong. This is a not quite final boss type territory, because you wouldn't expect that from a Treant, but in terms of numbers, pure numbers here, that's quite a bit. That's quite dangerous sounding. A Treant has tags of reach and forceful, and special qualities: wooden. It's not a plant, it's wooden. Throw a gnome. Let me see. What does throw gnome do? What does throw gnome do? Okay. It's a garden gnome. It's a garden gnome. I added it when I played Puzzle Agents, which has a lot of garden gnomes. And it's a default option available in the program that I use for that. It's called Karasubonk. And also, I'm a garden elf. If you're going to throw things at me, why not a garden gnome? Also thinking, I only know 1 or 2 gnome VTubers. Only, I think, 1, actually. Only 1. Though it doesn't mean that there aren't more. I know a lot more elves, though. I even know a halfling. Oh, I know it's 2 halflings, actually. I know 2 halflings. Pronouns? She, her? She, her. I'm a woman. So for the treants, the description. Old and tall and thick of bark, walk amidst the tree-line dark, strong and slow and forest-born, treants anger quick we warn. If to woods with axe you go, know the treants be thy foe. Instinct to protect nature. Other special moves that they have include move with implacable strength, set down roots, and spread old magic. I'm not violating gnomes. These are the pottery types of gnomes. They're not real gnomes. So, treant. And so it sounds like the kind of thing that most often would not be an enemy unless you attack them first, or seem like you're going to attack them first. With this, I'm going to take a 5-ish minute break because I have to attend to someone and make some more tea. I will be back soon. Thank you for the follow, Isaac Ariel. I do understand the time zone thing. I often fall asleep to people talking, streamers talking. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes not so much. Sometimes not so much. Night elves. I've only gotten to play World of Warcraft a little bit, just a tiny bit. When I think they had a free trial up to level 10 or something really stupidly low. Or maybe it was limited to like 14 days. But I think it was only limited to level 10. It didn't grab my heart back then. Also, I wasn't able to actually pay for it at the time. Hello, Nekama. How are you doing? I hope you're feeling better. I was warned against it. I was warned against it. So I went with mods instead. Mods are, I want to say, not really any safer, but at the same time, you don't have to pay for them usually. And Imagination does a lot of heavy lifting for text-based things like mods. But, night elves. I don't have the severe of an ear pointiness. That's just not quite a phrase. My ears aren't quite as pointed as them. Dramatic. And the eyebrows too. My eyebrows are not that big. You can't quite see the end of my eyebrows, but I assure you they do not go off the sides of my face. Element? You have watermelon? I tried to make a second cup of my tea, the blood orange Tazan, and I thought, I'm going to try milk in it. I did not test the milk first. It spoiled the entire cup, so I had to make a second cup of tea. I didn't want to waste any more blood orange, so I switched to it's the lemon echinacea throat coat tea instead. But okay, it's rather hot. I was so disappointed when I started pouring the milk in and seeing, oh, it's bad. This milk is not good. It's not. It smelled. It was awful. My throat isn't super bothering me today. Or at least not the way that you would expect. It's more of a, I really want to do a certain, I want to do a nasal rinse. I want to do a nasal rinse, and I haven't gotten to today. I can't do them a certain amount of time before a stream because it wouldn't work well, and I can't do them a certain amount of time before practicing singing either. So it has to be a period of like a few hours before any of those sorts of activities, which is, I stream 4 days a week. It's a bit limited, and still sometimes it just doesn't. Nasal pump, yeah, nasal rinse. So I do that. I do that, but sometimes all the water doesn't come out all at the end, honestly. So there might be times when I'm doing something else that day and maybe I lean over a bit too far and oh, there we go. I need a tissue. That sort of situation. Milk is fine. I don't drink a lot of it myself, which is why I have a half container of milk that is bad in my fridge now. I need to throw it out. I need to throw it out. I just went shopping too. I could have gotten fresh milk, but I thought, oh, this milk is fine. The sell-by was just 3 days ago. That was the sell-by. Water came out of my nose. Water came out of my nose. I probably need to reread the instructions and relearn how to do it a bit for the nasal rinses. Sometimes if you do them wrong, the water doesn't come out quite right or from the right spot. This is probably like too gross for an ASMR stream. The milk was not fine. No, it was not. That's not the first time recently that I've used bad milk. The other time was when, after Christmas, before New Year's. Was it after Christmas? It was when a friend of mine was doing, Cryptid Cliff Off was doing a group stream, and I found out my fridge was running. I should say my fridge wasn't running, and that was the problem. My fridge was not running. So my fridge went up to, my freezer went up to 22 degrees. American degrees. That's Fahrenheit, right? That's not good. That's not good. So a lot of things went bad. A lot of things went bad, including the milk. But at least that time, it's not exactly my fault. But I just have to be careful. The fridge is a bit finicky here. The ghost that lives in the fridge, the ghost that lives in the house, is finicky. But thank you, Ryan Van Fleet for, wait, Fraito. Right. Raven Flight for the follow. And thank you, Luke Bloom, for the follow as well. Stop being a child. I'd rather... "22 degrees in Freedom Unit should be fine for a freezer." No, it's still supposed to be lower than that, I think. And that was the point I caught it. It was actually higher than that before. It was above freezing initially. But I only got a photo of it at 22 degrees. which again, it normally runs at like 0 or -4 degrees. I'd rather the ghost be doing this rather than some other tricks, like slamming doors and things. That's a bit more scary. Especially alone at night sometimes. Hearing bangs and just kind of I don't know if that's someone or if it's the ghost or something else. Stick to the quiet pranks. Stick to the quiet pranks. To be truthful though, the house that I live in is a bit it's old for American standards, and it's not the best wired. The fridge, the cooler system, is actually on the main breaker. It's on the main breaker. There are over 50 different switch breakers in this house, and I don't know where most of them go. Over half of them. Could not find. Although, a lot of them could be for things that were for wall plugs that I wasn't testing for. And looking at the fridge, there is probably an electrical reason why it's doing this, but I haven't pinpointed why it sometimes does this. Aside from that, there's a visual reason why it could be acting up, but it doesn't act up all the time. So what is the other trigger that causes that is the question. I don't know what. What I really need to do is hire an electrician. A damaged wire? Okay, so it's you could say damaged wire. You might also say that maybe it's not plugged in all the way because the wall itself is blocking it for the plug because of the way that the plug is. It's a it's one of those that needs a bit of space above it, and because of the way that the plug is in the wall, there's a bit of wall there, so it's only partially plugged in. I moved into the house that way. It's not my fault. I just have to hire someone to cut it, and to do a lot of other electrical work. There's so much electrical work. Hello, Magnet. How are you doing? Let me have a bit of tea first. This house used to be Knob and Tube. It's no longer Knob and Tube. But to give you an idea of the age. I do have someone I can reference for electrical work to some extent. My family has a lot of electricians, but how to put it, and this happens for a lot of people, I feel like. If it's your job, you don't want to do it in your free time. So I try not to bother them with that sort of thing. And someone had asked about like becoming a full-time streamer. It's kind of a, if you like it as a hobby, don't make it into a job. Don't make it into a job. So I have a list of things that need to get done. And I also have actually some equipment borrowed. I have to properly run the internet lines, the Ethernet lines through. There's coax cable apparently up the wazoo here. So I should be able to very easily, what's the phrase? There's like a trick for like replacing wires if there's already a wire running through. So I could theoretically do that. I just have to actually make the time. We could work a price. Haha. I have seen them work on some extracurricular projects. I don't want to wait 3 years. And I also want them to remain family that I talk to. I'll just go for a third party. and just ask them for advice. Like, can you just write down the very basics of what needs to get done? And again, I already have a good chunk of that done. I just have to actually hire the electrician. Someone perhaps suggested by the family. Thank you, Mooch, for the follow. Having a price that you pay for your profession is beyond family. Guess I don't quite understand that phrase. Having a price that you pay for a profession is beyond family. Multiple Ethernet drops. Ah, that sounds nice. Yeah, there's only a few here. The wiring, as I said, is very strange. Very strange. But there have been some additions made recently that have been nice. And I feel like the last time this was wired well, maybe wired well is not the right phrase, wired or touched extensively by an electrician for an upgrade was probably in the late 90s, early 2000s. Part of it might also be the level of electrical work that my family has done. And I think they are beyond that. They're beyond having like a customer like that. They are not electricians of the residential sort, I suppose. They are grander electricians than that. It sounds a bit strange to say, but they're no longer like journeyman-esque. More managerial at this stage. Or pole work. I've heard some horror stories of the pole work. That Kirby's confused someone older than me. I just want a clarification. I just want a clarification. I have a tendency of misreading some things. There'll be a phrase that will be perfectly clear to other people, and I'm the one who's misreading it. I should say misunderstanding it, I suppose. Let me say. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to turn this down. We are leaving Shinjuku. Oh, it's not even showing the now playing right now because I still have it set to the wrong thing. Okay, back over to the woodland campsite. We are going to start that over. Okay. We only have a few more entries left, actually. We only have a few more entries left. Oh, I misread. There's only 2 more entries. There's 2 more entries, and then we get to do ranking. So, after the Treant, we have the werewolf, which is in the Dark Woods. A bit surprising that it's in the Dark Woods. So a werewolf is solitary and intelligent. It has a bite of d10 plus 2 damage and 1 piercing, 12 hit points, and 1 armor. Just a werewolf that only that much hit points? And the tags it has is close and messy. Special qualities, weak to silver. Out of all the qualities, they picked the weakness to enunciate here. Another quote. Although we haven't come across any sidebars in Dark Forest. Surprised at that. So the werewolf. Beautiful, isn't it? The moon, I mean. She's watching us, you know? Her pretty silver eyes watch us while we sleep. Mad, too, like all the most beautiful ones. If she were a woman, I'd bend my knee and make her my wife on the spot. No, I didn't ask you here to speak about her, though. The chains? For your safety, not mine. I'm cursed, you see. You must have suspected. The Sorcerer's King... The Sorcerer Kings call it lycanthropy. In their day, passed on by a bite to make more of our kind. No, I could find no cure. Please, don't be scared. You have the arrows I gave you? Silver, yes. You begin to understand. Don't cry, sister. You must do this for me. I cannot bear more blood on my hands. You must end this for me. Instinct. To shed the appearance of civilization. That's quite extreme. Actually, I just realized something in this entire thing. I'm showing the name of it, but I'm not showing the artist. Okay, there is no album. And thank you, Cloud and Jake, for the follows. Let's see. So the other special moves that a werewolf has is transform to pass unnoticed as beast or man, strike from within, and hunt like man and beast. Werewolves are also very... Because again, intelligent creatures. Intelligent creatures ring Kylie to me. For monsters. And also, I suppose, the whole concept of unwilling monsters sometimes. That's fun to play with. Insomnia-inspired pancakes? That reminds me... I just went shopping and I... Okay, it looks terrible. I just went shopping and I forgot to buy pancake mix. I forgot to buy pancake mix. I was going to buy pancake mix and make pancakes. I guess I'm just gonna have to live with it. You need to right a wrong? Waffles? Yeah, I like waffles too. But I like pancakes. Actually, wait, when is Mardi Gras? I can make from scratch. If I have all the ingredients, I'm not certain if I do. I don't actually know if I've ever made pancakes from scratch. Although, I may have actually, I'd once tried to make the really thick Japanese pancakes in a rice cooker. It did not turn out well. I would not suggest doing it. Do not suggest it. It does not come out right. It was still kind of raw in the center and like burnt on the outside. It did not cook right. Waffles hold their shape. But I don't have a waffle pan anymore, I don't think. I didn't make waffles enough to really use it. Versus pancakes you can do with anything. How far did the rice cooker? It's a fuzzy logic rice cooker. It just does its own thing. So I had no control over it. Although there is a place, I was looking at this nearby. I say nearby, there's a place I can order from, I should say, that does cakes. It looks really nice, but it's a $62 cake that looks like pancakes. Multiple Japanese thick, fluffy pancakes stacked one on top of each other. I don't actually know if that's what the cake is made out of. Let me check actually really quickly. Let me check. I look them up. How many do you get? How many pancake cakes? One pancake cake for $62. It's not the most expensive cake I've had, I feel like. But it looks gorgeous. I think I feel like I've had probably like an $80 cake maybe. But again, these are like specialty bakeries. I want to say a lot of, I mean, I can't really speak. I'm the person who spent like $5 on a cupcake. I've spent $5 on a cupcake. Mm, wedding cake? Wedding cake is very expensive. Wedding cake. Mm. But oftentimes, you wouldn't necessarily know how expensive it is, would you? Unless you're the one buying it. Unless you're the one paying for it. Or unless the bridegroom doesn't care what people know about it. But sometimes it's also rolled into the price of other things. If you're getting catering, for example, the cake price might be included. $65 for one cake. This is a cake that feeds 8 to 12 people for $62. It's a 6-inch cake, which doesn't sound very big, but at the same time, it's a rather tall cake. It is. Let me grab a photo. Let me grab a photo. Where does it go? Why is it saving as this type of file? Save it on top of this. I can. Okay, let me grab this from somewhere else. It's from somewhere else. I don't know how big this is going to be. This is the cake I'm talking about. This is the pancake cake. That's $62. Making cakes from scratch is not so bad, actually. Depends on what kind of cake. I've made multiple rum cakes drunk. Not like super drunk, but wow, if you're making an alcoholic cake, you should partake to make sure it's all good, right? Honestly, making truffles is more annoying than making cake. And making cupcakes too, depending on the type. I think making cupcakes was much more annoying than some of the other cakes I've made because there's just so many of them, and some of them were very specialty. I wanted to work through 12 months of cupcakes, so I made a. Oh, thank you for the follow, Roxas, and thank you for the follow. Slide time is prime. I've messed up icing. You don't need icing for cakes, or you don't need icing for all cakes, but people generally expect icing on top of cupcakes, right? Heretical 1-minute cupcakes by a microwave. I've heard of that. Yes. I've heard of that. And then brownies too, right? 56 seconds to make one from scratch. I'd rather just wait until desire builds up and then just make a 12-pack of cupcakes. I used to bring them for other people, the cupcakes, but since the plague, not really doing much baking like that for others anymore, and less baking for myself. Looks like chicken nuggets. No, it's okay. I don't know what's on top. Let me check. What is on top? Okay. Layers of fluffy pancake cake, brown sugar, cinnamon cookie butter. That must be the things around the edge. They have a maple syrup glaze and brown butter crumb and butter, quote unquote, on top. That's what it is. save up and buy a whole bunch of stuff I'll need for a giant bake sale. No. What? I wouldn't have a bake sale. I wouldn't feel comfortable selling any sort of baked good. And I haven't baked a whole lot in a long time. I think the last thing I probably baked was... oh, it's been so long. It might actually have been a rum cake. We have one more enemy. We don't have food like this to order. Yes. So that's one of the things I like about being more of a city adjacent kind of person. Gardens. It's easier to acquire these sorts of things. I can get specialty marshmallows if I desire. I can find unusual ingredients. There are mochi donuts within ordering distance. And if I don't want to order mochi donuts, I can try and make them myself. I can find a nearby grocery that sells the ingredients and make my own butter mochi. There's also the case of this isn't really something that's too bothersome where I live. Being able to understand how the baking works 50 miles away? That's really far. That's super far. I don't know how close the nearest one to me would be. That's not something I keep track of. Although I could order, this is really nonsensical in a way, but I could order food from down the street, technically. I could order from multiple places from down the street and have it delivered. Just further up. It's one of the perks of being close. Baking is science. You need a few people living with you as friends. I don't. The person who can find random cool stuff on the internet and somehow get the person who could find weird and cool foods and make them, and the person who could just make conversation about everything. I don't mind living with others, but I think I prefer, like, not necessarily living with friends for the most part. I haven't had to have roommates in a very long time. I think I'd like to keep it that way. Although, actually, I say that. There was one chance of having a guest for a while, but that didn't pan out. Bridge break. Yeah. Okay, the ghost does not count. The ghost does not count. He came here with the house. Baking is a science. Cooking is an art. You need to follow the instructions for baking. You need to understand how all the rules work before you can try to not even break them. You don't really want to break the rules of baking too much. Unlike cooking. I do have a bread maker. I haven't used it in a while, but that's kind of the level of cooking I don't mind. Aside from some of the baking. Some of the baking is nice. But I'm following things in a book when I do that. I have a booze cake book. I haven't made a huge amount of things from it, but I have made the rum cake a few times that people like. How can you cook bacon and bake cookies? I suppose I don't understand the interplay with that phrase. Unless you're making a pun on, like, oh wait, bacon and cookies. Okay. I mean, Is bacon a French word? I feel like it's from French and it doesn't really come from my face. It's right here. Right here. You can see it. With the ears and everything. Renting out rooms to friends. It was more of a case of I have people who visit me and I can visit them. I don't live too far out from them, and it looks like we're going to try and make it a monthly thing to play board games together. Thank you for the follow. Oh, right. Okay, so thank you for the follow, Mr. Higglesworth, and Nine Fuego and Cosmic Visions. And I tend to meet up with people every week as well, so I'm not limited. I'm not limited. And then there's streaming. Streaming counts, sort of, right? Oh, sorry, I hit the tea rest with the mug, with the cup. Paladin Rogue Druid composition. I was gonna say, I know someone with a 3D printer. Does that count a bit? And then I realized, oh, he moved away. That one moved away. Streaming inside the house. Good thing I'm streaming in the garden then, isn't it? You're all in the garden. Not in the house. Blacksmith. I don't honestly know when it comes to like finding random cool stuff on the internet. Out of the group of people that I know, who counts as that? The person for finding weird and cool foods to make them. I suppose I do know someone who fits that. Actually, part of that is a pair. So part of that would be my old D&D group. Part of that would be the D&D group. I might be the person who finds the random stuff on the internet partially. I remember surprising them with like a pumpkin spice cheese. I didn't make the cheese, but I certainly found it and brought it. And I'm also the one who found one of them was looking for fresh crayfish. No, crawfish. They were looking for fresh crawfish. I wasn't able to find them live crawfish locally, but I did find a place that had been selling fresh crawfish. Unfortunately, when they went there, they weren't being sold anymore. It was kind of weird. They kind of gaslit her about it. Like they never sold them. It's kind of I have a picture right here of the barrel of like ice and crawfish on top of it with that label. How can you look at her like she's crazy when you had this literally last week? It was nonsense. Well, thank you for the compliment, Cosmic Visions. I do want to get together with them though and do a crawfish boil at some point. It's a regional specialty for one of them, but getting live crawfish is a bit expensive. There are a few other things like that though, where for her it's a case of it would be easy if she were still back home getting alligator and live crawfish and things like that. And it's kind of a case of, do we want to order it off the internet or see about paying someone in her family to send it up for us? That's possible. That's possible. Not having a good day at work. I haven't gone back there too often. I don't think I've seen the crawfish for sale since, though, unfortunately. Maybe it's just a time of the year type deal. It is a bit of a seasonal thing, crawfish boils, right? I think it's fall because that's when the corn is available. And I don't really think that potatoes have that sort of, I don't want to say limitation exactly, Why not crab legs as a sub? Mm, we could have done that, but really, it's kind of weird. I want to see her smile. And I think that having a live crawfish boil here would have done that. It was something that she wanted to do. And it's something that brings a bit of home to her here. I don't quite think that crab legs as a substitute would work. Also, I'm also a bit of afraid with the price of seafood that crab legs might be just as expensive as crawfish. As getting live crawfish imported. I was looking at the prices of fish earlier and kind of $14 a pound for local fish. Maybe I don't want to say tofu again, but just more of a let's see what's in the bulk area instead. And thank you, Treemeister, for the compliment. And for the follow. Yeah, crab is... I don't think it's going to be any cheaper. I've done a shrimp boil, I think, instead. Personally. $14 for local fish. I think that's what the price was. I think it went up to $17 or $18 depending a pound for some of the fishes. Some of the fish? Is the plural of fish still fish? I don't know how popular the fish I was looking at is in terms of how often it's available, so I'm not going to say what it is. Yeah, food price has gone up. Which is kind of $62 for that cake doesn't seem so bad in hindsight, does it? How much would it cost to bake something like that? Everything's gotten more expensive though. Everything. But I wanted to say, can you really expect prices to go back down once they've been raised? It doesn't really work that way, unfortunately. Or rather, in rare occasions. I am supposed to be going on a family vacation to Disney World sometime in the upcoming months, and I guess some of the prices have just been lowered, which is kind of shocking. But I suppose it was a big enough deal that they were raised in the first place that the old CEO got kicked out, so maybe that might be a exception. It might be an exception. Over an abundance of the product to go down to match popularity. That's fair. I think, though, in a lot of cases, that just simply isn't going to happen. There's also a bit of scarcity going on for some things. There's been a lot of issue with chicken recently, right? Because of... Oh, eggs. Eggs is the big deal. The price of eggs has gone up. And they've had to call a lot of chickens because of avian flu this year, right? So the price of eggs is dramatic. Someone was being made fun of for, I think it was $8 eggs. $8 for 18. And everyone who had chickens was kind of like, you know what? No, that's a pretty alright price. Considering the price of feed and everything, that's not bad at all. Like, I had to charge $4 or $5 per dozen, so extrapolating that to the 18, yeah, that's not so bad. But remembering when it was only like $2 or $3 for a dozen, or even cheaper than that. So maybe a bit more skint on the meat nowadays, or at least on the grocery meat. Other meat, though. Other meat. Still on the table. Still on the table. Let's see. So, warg is the last one that we have here. Warg. Horde, organized. The warg has a bite for d6 damage, 3 hit points, and 1 armor. So that's equivalent to the Elvish Warrior, I think. 3 hit points, 1 armor. Although the damage is a bit different. And the warg has a range of only close. Warg. As horses are to the civil races, so go the warg to the goblins. Mounts, fierce in battle, ridden only by the bravest, and most dangerous, are found and bred in the forest primeval to serve the goblins in their wars on men. The only safe warg is a pup, separated from its mother. If you can find one of these, or make orphans of a litter with a sharp sword, you've got what could become a loyal protector or hunting hound in the future. Train it well, mind you, for the warg are smart and never quite free of their primal urges. Instinct to serve. Special moves include carry a rider into battle, give its rider an advantage. Sorry, just they talk about the warg being smart, but they're not smarter, I guess, than than an ogre or a hill giant. I'm going to check something else. This was a bit strange earlier. Yeah, why is it doing that? Oh, okay. Going to adjust a few things. So why is this a bit strange? Why is it so wide? Okay. So, oh, I'm going to shrink it down a bit. Now that we've read through everything in the Dark Woods, we're going to rank them. We're going to put them in the chart. Let's see. So this is a more general tier list. It's not specifically about battle or anything like that. It's kind of a coolness factor, I suppose, of it. Versatility, how fun they would be to play against, how fun they would be able to play as in the case of a game master. Let's see. So we start with the Assassin Vine. Or do we start from the bottom? Let's start from the bottom, perhaps. Start with the warg. Or should I start with the obvious ones? And I think this is everything that we covered. I think. I might want to double check. Hill Giant, Ogre, Razor Boar, Satyr, Treant, Warg, Werewolf. Okay. I think that covers everything. I feel like I'm going to be very unbiased about this. Oh wait, no, unbiased is not the right word. I'm going to be very biased about this, actually. I'm going to be biased. Okay, we're going to... Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. That's fine. Sorry about the flash there. Selected something wrong. This is my own personal ranking. This doesn't have to reflect anyone else. What? What is this? Okay. Oh. Is it having issues? Yeah, I'm going to be right back. I think I need to restart something. It's having issues, right? Things are crashing. Things are crashing. I'll be right back. Okay, I did not expect multiple things to crash there. I didn't expect multiple things to crash. Sorry about that. I connected some things in the back, but not others. Okay, so we have werewolves and wargs, ogres and hill giants. We're not out of the woods yet. Okay, I also like Chaos Ooze. Chaos Ooze is something that I haven't specifically seen. I think that is actually kind of novel. I think it's novel. I like it. I'm also gonna have to make additional... What is the word for this? I'm gonna have to make more rows. I'm going to have to make more rows in A, I think. Oh, you can't quite see, probably. So, this is a better look. Maybe a little bigger in here. Maybe a bit. Hopefully not blocking too much else. So we have gelatinous cubes, will-o-wisps, lich, and vampire at the top. I want to say I do generally give higher rankings to intelligent creatures. But will-o-wisps and gelatinous cubes don't fit in there. They don't. But they're still a lot of fun. They're still a lot of fun. Misleading creatures. That's really what they are. Intelligent creatures. Creatures that can easily mislead. Just a normal bat. Just a normal, you know, black mist. Normal black mist. Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing in here at least as bad as the maggot squid. The maggot squid didn't seem like it had a whole lot coming for it. It was not enticing to use, and also the entire concept just is kind of gross. Gonna lie, kind of gross. I want to see a bit more about the Eagle Lord again. So the Eagle Lords are intelligent. I wonder if Eagle Lords are really only in here because of Lord of the Rings, really. There's no other reason why people would give such benevolence, I feel like, to a bird like that, I feel like. Unless there's a cultural section behind it that I don't know of. It's possible. I haven't done a lot of research into that sort of thing. Every time I see ogre, I think it's all ogre. It's all ogre. I know that they're dumb. And I know that they're not looked upon kindly. And they're not necessarily... There's not necessarily a whole lot to play through there. I like the flip that they did with this, with the concept of the ogre, where they're more closely related to man than other things. And that deep down the ogres remember. I like that, so I'm bumping them up. B for ogre. Every time I hear this noise in the back, I think, is that the blink dog? Is that the werewolf? Is it the warg? I guess it'd be a warg if it's something that's in your camp. You raised the warg puppy successfully. It is now your companion. It is your steed. But deep down you can hear it when it eats like that. It's only perhaps a matter of time. Assassin vines. No one really expects the plants, do they? Well, actually, before I do that, I need to add a new row. I'm going to clear it of monsters. So we're going to add assassin vine there. Oh, this is getting a little long. You know what? Don't care. It can cover up the maggot squid. The maggot squid is not worth it. The maggot squid is not worth the space. I know the hill giants are supposed to be like the ogres, but a little different. We're gonna rank them a little lower. We're gonna rank them a little lower. Also, looking at the white wolf. So, I'm going to go back really quickly and read the white wolf out loud. That was something that was in the undead section. One of the last ones. I feel like a lot of these have similar not concepts. They have, I guess, a different flavor, but really how close they are in outcome. So the white wolf, special quality, shadow form. They are horde, intelligent, organized, compared to the warg, which is horde, organized. Okay, so the warg is less intelligent. Oh, the warg is less intelligent. So the white wolf. Like the Nightwing, the white wolf is a creature not spawned in our world. Somehow slipping the seals of the black gates of death, these spirits take the shape of massive hounds or shadowy wolves and hunt the living for sport. They travel in packs, led by a mighty alpha, but bear a kind of intelligence unknown to true canines. Their wild hunts draw the attention of intelligent undead, liches, vampires, and the like, who will sometimes make pacts with the alpha and serve a grim purpose together. Listen for the baying of the hounds of death and pray that they do not howl for you. So, it's another warg, white wolf. It's another canine. It's another canine. And there's already so many of those. I think there was even yet another one in this set. What was it? What was it? I think it was the Sigben. That was another canine creature. There's just so many of them. They kind of blend in together. I'm not doing this in a spreadsheet. This is actually Figma. You may have heard of Figma because Figma was recently bought by Adobe. I am going to very briefly unhide the sidebars so you can see the full screen of what I've been working. Oh, actually, no. I can't do this for this. I can't. Actually, if I do this really quickly, I will. Okay, now I can. So, if you see this, this is Figma. Figma, F-I-G. Figma, like the figures by Good Smile Company. So, it is a UX UI tool. You could also use it for graphic design to some extent. And it is... So, if you're editing photos, Photoshop is the way to go. If you're editing vector files, Illustrator. Well, there's a word for this sort of program where it's like best in show type stuff. It is... industry standard, I think. So this is not industry standard because there isn't really a standard, but it's a very good program. It's a very good program. So what I'm doing is I have a block somewhere for a monster that is a component, and all it really is, you can't see it on dark backgrounds. It's just a block. Like, it's the border and white text. It's a definition. And I have instances of that component for each one of these. And this is also how I made my anime tier list way back when. And I actually made basically, this can't exactly be a component, but like it wouldn't be a bad idea to try and mess around with it, make it a component. So yeah, you're not supposed to use tier lists for things that only 1 or 2 people are going to use. The idea is over 100 people should use it. So I just make my own in here. But this is also a tool I'm familiar with, and I'm able to do auto layout and such. So it's very useful if you're making websites. It's better than Photoshop and Illustrator for that purpose, for speccing it out, because it's way easier to tell it to, how to put it, make a box and then add padding around the edges to make it look like a button, like with a colored background. Versus Photoshop, that might be something you can't easily automate versus here. Let me make a really quick button, I guess. Let's make a really quick button. This isn't the purpose of the stream at all. Okay, button. This is a easy button with it's a text layer. We're going to create, we'll group it first. No, no, we're gonna make it a frame. We're gonna make it a frame. Auto layout, 10 padding, it's fine. Horizontal padding. So we're gonna set it to be 10 on the sides and 5 on the top and bottom. We're gonna have a fill background of red. Border of like 5. Radius, just 15. Wow, okay. That kind of sucks. It's not a very pretty button, but it's a button. So we have a button. We can rename it to tier list, and everything auto sizes for it. Excellent. It doesn't think tier list is a name. But I can also just make this button. We have it as a frame. We're going to name that button instead. We're going to make it a component. And we have a library of assets here that we can refer to that later on. And we can have a tier list. We can do a couple buttons in a row. And like you can see, it's snapping a bit here too. So we're gonna name this one. This is all placeholder, and we're going to actually bring this into a group as well. And we're going to auto layout, and we want them to be, wait, I only selected 2 there. Let me grab a third. They're gonna be 38 pixels apart? No, they're gonna be 200 pixels apart. Auto size. Auto size. You can also change the alignment. Let's say this is a tier entry list for some reason, and you can set it so that it will align however you want. I'm going to stop. This isn't the purpose. But yes, Figma is rather powerful for a browser setup. And also, if you have a free account, a free tier account, I think you can have up to 3 draft files. Have a good night, Jacksepte. Construction IDEA. Sounds like a program for constructing IDEA maps. They do have a big jam thing that's supposed to be for helping with collaborating on projects. I've never really used it. I've never had to. But I hope your pancakes were good. Maybe for breakfast I'll actually have breakfast food for once. Maybe I'll make pancakes. That's so tempting. I think I have syrup. Why would I have eggs too. Maybe I will make pancakes. Yes, Figma. I'm going to delete these now. They're no longer necessary. I'm also going to put the crops back in, see, because you don't need to see all of that. You just need to see this. Which already sticks out some of the bits and bobs. Like you can see tier list, a label up here, really tiny. That's the name of the frame. It's the name of the frame that all this is contained in. navigate to Microsoft Access? No. It's not something... At least, hold on, let me check. Okay. There's a... Let me unhide. There is a prototype option over here. So you can have it interact, and you can have it click, unclick, go to a certain other page. And there is actually a play button right up here. E. Oh, right. This is E for Evening Primrose. So you can see who else is on the file. You can spotlight them, which means you follow them around on the file, which is good. There's the history is a bit annoying, but for one person it's fine. But there's a play so that you can navigate. If you built a website, you can navigate between the different pages. That should each be a frame in here, honestly. Like each page should be a frame. You can have frames inside that frame easily, but each page should be a frame. You can have it set to navigate between different frames. So if, for instance, let's say the starting point is going to be the buttons, like the entire frame. It's awful. This is not a good idea, but you know, practice. Oh, actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to hide this. I can show you a project that I made entirely in Figma. This is absolutely not what Figma was made for, what I'm about to show you, but it's what I did for Halloween. But you can't have it navigate to something in Microsoft Access. It would have to be another page in Figma. But again, you can see quite a bit. So, okay. Bring it back up. So this is Pumpkin Town. For Halloween, I ran a special... You just share a link. You share a link. I could share a link to this right now, but I'm not going to. So if I hit share button, you'll be able to see everyone who has access, what kind of level of access they have. Do you want it to be a private thing where only people with the link will... People who are invited to the project have the ability to see it, or is it public where if you have the link, it's everybody goes? So it's run through Figma. Honestly, I want to say they make their money through corporate licenses, I would imagine. So, I guess that's how they fund all the different projects and the links and everything, keeping all that data up. So for this, we have a whole bunch of different pages, essentially. If I hit the play, it's gonna open up another screen. And this is what I was actually using for presenting. And I was doing it fit to screen. And I had it cropped a bit more, so you wouldn't be able to see certain things and wouldn't have that, like, awful line. I don't know how I got rid of that. It may have been getting rid of a few things. So with this, I was able to have interaction points. And you're able to hide these too, which is what I did for the stream. But for most people, for most reasons, you'd probably want to show them to let people know where they can click. But for me, I already knew. So you can have it set so it goes to a certain location. For instance, here it brought me to the score. And then you can set it to also return back. So you don't need to make multiple copies of something. You could just tell it to go back. So here, we're going to go down. Again, look at the score. And it brings us back to where we were. Set it to return. If I head back to Pumpkin Town, the way that you would see that is... Where's my score? Where's my score? Over here. If you go to prototype mode, you can see all the linking between the different files. This is actually all the links to the score here. And you can also see here that if you click on the score button that I made, it has an arrow. That's just the return. That's the back. You can also have it scroll to or swap overlays, which I did not use any overlays here, I do not believe. But what I did do is, let's go, we have the start game. This is the starting point of the flow. This is, you can see here like the basic links between the different areas, but it's not showing all of them for some reason. It's only showing some of them. I'm not certain why. Okay, so for instance, if you zoom in here, this frame, this is the overlay, and that is a component. So if I made a change to the original overlay, which is right here, it will propagate to everything else. So let's say I do not want these buttons to be this color. No, they're going to be, we're going to select them all, and they're going to be pink. They're going to be pink. Everything changed. All the links are now pink because of the component linking. And you can have components inside of components. You can replace components very easily. So it's really good for when you have a lot of things that are repetitive. Well, repetitive in some instances, as you see here. Repetitive elements. I should probably just do a teaching stream for this at some point, but at the same time, it's a lot of work. D&D campaign. I could see that working to some extent, or some overarching things. For other things, though, you would still have to create assets somewhere else. It's not great for asset creation. I would, if you're making icons or something, don't do it in Figma. Do it in Illustrator. The icons here are really rough still. These are actually imported from a plugin, I believe. I think, let me check. Widget, nope. Okay, no. I think I actually saved these are Google icons that I used. And we could go in and oh, I shouldn't do that here. I should do it in the overlay. Actually, I'm gonna change the color back. So we can go in and alter this. Theoretically, the vector file. Let me edit. Let me pen tool it. I guess I can't? That's strange. Oh, you know why? I have to go to the instance also. So I know that this is an instance of something, but I don't remember where I placed the original. There's an option to go there. So I'm selecting on the right here the object. I go to main component, go to main component. Aha! And also there's a neat little return to instance button so I can swap back to go back to exactly where I went. So yeah. So here I can edit it and I can make awful changes that I should not propagate anywhere else. But yeah, the handling in here for vectors is kind of wonky. It's not great. It's not the best. But it's fine enough for minor changes. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Let me check. Where is it? Thank you for the follow, Blepmerp. Sorry, I'm not tucking monsters. Unless you count Adobe as a monster, in which case this is an Adobe product now-ish. Not fully incorporated into the family, but one day this too shall fall to ruin. Unfortunately. I really hope it stays good. I really hope it stays good. But, yes. I'm trying to remember what I did for the inventory and stuff. I think that I had a checkbox. And I think, oh, here's the thing. Should I make this larger? I can't. They're over on the right here. There's an option for checkbox. It's a component, instance of a component called checkbox. And I have a little toggle here for checked or unchecked. Except it's, okay, it's fine. And you can see, yeah, all it took for that, because of the way I designed the component, really easy to swap. Really easy to swap. You can do a lot of really cool things now with it, but part of it requires a paid account, which I do not have on this particular account. They've done some, they have in beta nesting, exposing nested attributes, which is really awesome. I've been looking forward to it, but it's not available for free users yet. Yeah, product demo. You're welcome from someone who's totally not paid by Figma. Totally not paid by Figma. Let's see. Okay, back to the tier list. And I'm going to hide. I'm gonna hide the gristle. I think that's a good way of putting it. The viscera. I want to say, if you know people who are using InVision, get them to switch. Get them to switch. It's worth it. It's worth it. Okay. So, Gelatinous Cube, Will-O-Wisp, Lich, Vampire. What do we have left? Oh, I'm still in prototype mode. I have to switch. Oh, also, I'm going to undo some stuff. Hold on. I need to undo a bunch of stuff that I did. As I said, there is a history, but I'm not used to doing a whole lot with it on a free account, so I'd rather just undo it now while I have a chance. What can I do? Okay, excellent. I think there's one more. Is that all I can undo on? Can I not undo any further? Hold on. I need to check something. Did I lose something? Did I lose a sheet that I can't undo? Yes, I did lose a sheet. Oh, okay. Let me check the history real quick. So there's a limit to how much you can undo. I have just learned that. Show version history. 5 autosave versions. There's a 30-day version history. Oh. Okay. Excellent. That's fine. That's fine. I can recreate that later. I can recreate that later. I might as well delete that now. Oh. Thank you, EV Games. I'm close to wrapping up. Let me see. We are currently ranking monsters. Thank you for the raid, EV Games. For those who don't know, I am the Evening Primrose. I am a garden elf. I come out at night to play games. Though tonight we're reading about games instead. We know how to read. I hope you do. I hope you do. Although that's okay, because at the same time, you don't have to read it all. You can just listen. You can listen. It's fine to listen. And thank you for the follow, Nagwolf and Novocaine. Sometimes I have trouble reading too. Sometimes I have trouble reading. I want to say last week, it took me 6 hours to read 10 pages. 6 hours. Although, in fairness, I've read 88 pages in 3 hours. So it really depends, you know? And thank you, Jolly Fool, for the follow. Right, I'm going to shout out. I can spell. I can spell. I can absolutely spell. Will this work? I think it works. 5 pages. Well, I mean, sometimes when you get sucked into a book, right? Go take care of yourself. Do what you need to do. And same for anyone who's, if you've been like lurking or watching streamers for like hours, go take care of yourself. Go get a drink. Go get a nice cup of tea. Okay. Thank you for the posture check. I am no longer shrimping. How cute. Mm. This is pretty bare bones right now. It's pretty bare bones. Mm. A lot of it's carried by Schust. A lot of it's carried by Schust. I spent the past like half hour talking about Figma, which is the thing I'm using in the corner, which is covering a quarter of the screen in a not very pretty way, but it's very functional, Figma. Thank you, CBGBs, for the follow as well. Okay, I'm actually... Oh, I have a little bit of tea left. Ligma. You're not the first person to say Ligma. It's Figma. Like, Good Smile Company has Nendoroids and Figmas. It's Figma. I need to work on my pronunciation. I'm trying, Teach. I'm trying. I had that. Thank you. So, we finished reading. How many pages did I read? We started at... Okay, you're gonna have to help me do... Oh, I should do it the other way around. You're gonna have to help me do math. 275 is where we ended. And we started at page 267. 8 pages today in 3 hours. I say 3 hours because some of that was break, some of that was cat, other things. So 8 pages, 3 hours. Not record-breaking. Not record-breaking, but not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. And again, I spent a half hour just talking about Figma, so I'm sorry. It's not very ASMR reading to talk about the workings of Figma. Okay. So we have strong accomplishment. I feel like I might be better off doing the actual book readings. I swear this week I will go to the library and pick out a new book. I promise this time. I will see when they are open late, when I can crawl in. Wake up early and crawl in at 8 p.m. when they close at 9. Or they probably don't do the drop-offs anymore. Let's see. So, we have a few more monsters to put in our list. So, I read all the monstrous entries from Dungeon World tonight. If I pop the Chrome Canary down. We read about the Dark Woods, all the monsters on the bottom here of this list. The Assassin Vine, the Blink Dog, the Centaur, the Cockatrice, the Elvish Warrior, the Elvish High Arcanist, the Griffin, the Razor Boar, the Satyr, the Sprite, the Treant, the Werewolf, and the Warg. Those we all read about. We read their entries. They are about half a page each in Dungeon World, which I shall remind you, let me see if I can get the chat up for it, is... No, don't do this. It's a free-to-play, free-to-read tabletop RPG. If you need an alternate to D&D, Dungeon World is a good starter. It's a good starter for both DM and for player. And everything that I am reading right now is freely available on that website. And because of it being free, it doesn't really have a whole lot of images to show either, unfortunately, but it is what it is. We are lucky to get this for free. So we have Assassin Vine, which, as specified, is an actual plant. It's an actual plant that kills. And I think, oh, I have it in 2 places because I was ranking it in B before I got distracted by whether or not this is an Excel spreadsheet or not. Or rather, maybe not Excel spreadsheet specifically, but a spreadsheet. And I will say, one thing Figma does not do well is grids. It sucks at grids. Or at least it does as far as I know. Maybe they've made improvements. That's my one failing here. So otherwise, we have link dogs. Again, there's a lot of canines in here, and after a certain point, I just get kind of bored with them. We're gonna clear this out of monsters. So we have a fresh, blank new line. I'm going to grab this box and move it down, because right now it's covering up more than just the F. So this is kind of a coolness ranking, or like how fun it would be to play against them or play as them if you are the DM, GM, as it were. And you're also free to interfere, so to speak. You can try and egg things up or down. Although I will say I do prefer intelligent creatures to play as and play against. More surprises that way. There are a few, however, that are not intelligent that are high up on the list. No one's going to argue for the intelligence of a gelatinous cube or a chaos ooze. And at the bottom, we have the maggot squid, which, well, you see the name. It deserves to be down there. It deserves to be down there. Let's see. So we have a werewolf. I feel like if I don't put this up in the same spot as a vampire, it says something about me. Do they deserve to be tied, though? Do they deserve to be tied? I also have to say, I have never read Twilight or any of the Twilight spin-offs. So, or, I say or, and I've never seen it. I've never watched it or any of the spin-offs. So, I know the, oh, you know what? I can't delete that quite yet. I need to put another rank for A. This might get a little funky. So we're going to make a new section for this, a new frame. That's going to have an auto layout, and that's going to be to the side. And it's going to be this way. And this now becomes down lines. Oh, I missed a monster. I missed a monster. Now we copy paste. And now we empty this. Excellent. We have our second row. So, werewolves are cool, but there's something a little cooler about vampires. There's something a little bit cooler about vampires. So, I think I'm going to put the werewolves in A. But they're in good company. Kobolds are really fun to play with. So are doppelgangers and dryads. And the chaos ooze. That one, again, maybe I should bump that up. Maybe I should bump the chaos ooze up. This is the 4th monster setting that I've covered. The previous ones included the cavern dwellers, swamp denizens, undead legions, and now we have the dark woods. Not everything has had something S ranked in there. But Undead Legion got 2. Undead Legion got 2. It got the Lich and the Vampire. I don't feel bad about not putting anything in S from Darkwoods exactly. But at the same time, I wish there were something. Wait. It's kind of a, do I put the Treants in there? Do I put the Treants in there? The Treant had killer stats, honestly. The Treant had killer stats. At the same time, I'm going to once more grab out the definition of a monster. Definition of a monster. Sorry, making sure I get the appropriate definition of monster. A monster is any living or undead thing that stands in the character's way. So with that definition of monster, a treant most likely is not going to be a monster, but if it is a monster, it's a terrifying beast. It just, you have to get on, I suppose, the treant's bad side in order for it to become a monster. And that is why things such as the Elvish Warrior and the Elvish Eye Priest count as monsters here too. Granted, that's not the only sentient thing. They do have a tag for intelligence. They do have a tag for intelligent, which is why we have the Dwarven Warrior on here. And, as previously spoken about, the Vampire and the Lich, which are highly intelligent. And they don't have to worry so much about divines, as other groups put it. Though they do have some races that are player races. Elves, dwarves, halflings, humans. I think that is actually the end of all the player races in the standard book. But they're still absolutely willing to define any of those races as a monster. In fact, the upcoming settings, though, I'll be reading later, not necessarily tonight, but later, include Ravenous Hordes, Twisted Experiments, Lower Depths, Planar Powers, and Folk of the Realm. Ravenous Hordes include things like Orcs and Gnolls and Tritons and Forbians. Twisted Experiments, not anything that you would consider a sentient creature explicitly. Lower Depths have Deep Elves and Dragons. A bit surprised there in the Lower Depths. Planar Powers have Devils and Angels and Elementals. And the Tarrasque. Not that I guess that Tarrasque is particularly intelligent, is it? As far as I know. But it's still a great threat. Still a great monster. And then Folk of the Realm. Again, this is in the monster section. Acolytes, Adventurers, Fools, Guardsmen, Hedge Wizards, Tinkerers, Spies, Peasants. Those could all be monsters, as long as they stand in the Adventurer's ways. Cockatrice. They're not terrible. I suppose I would actually probably rank them higher than a hill giant. But they're still in the C category. I might even bump them down to D. They aren't really inspiring to me. Did we already put Basilisk down? Is there a Basilisk down? I do not think so. They must. Oh wait, there is. Okay, C. Yeah, Basilisk and Cockatrice. I tend to get them mixed up, and they're not inspiring. They're not the worst. They're not inspiring. Razor boars too. They're not particularly evocative to me. Maybe that's because I'm not super familiar with boars. So for the razor boar, it just seems like a tougher boar. They just seem like a tougher boar. Something that you can throw at your adventurers after they've outgrown regular boars. Satyrs. Satyrs are fun. Satyrs are fun. Are they as fun as these other things? I think they could be. They're at least a B. Satyrs are at least a B. I feel like I'm going to probably also be ranking a lot of fairy type creatures up a rank higher than they otherwise would be. They don't have a tag or anything like that for fairy, but they might as well. The sprites too. The sprites had a very short sheet. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move the satyr up. A werewolf next to a satyr. A werewolf next to a satyr. So sprites. If annoying were an element, they'd be an elemental. So, I suppose it's a case of pure fey magic, assuming fey magic stands for annoying. Actually, so I was talking earlier about, so if being annoying, if annoying or an element, what would the other ones be? So I guess if you take, there's a plane of fairy, right? So what is the balance of the other planes along with that one? There has to be something pre-made out there for that. Similar to how they have the different devilish and angelic element, or not elements, planes out there. At least in Dungeons and Dragons. In Forgotten Realms. Worlds. And beyond. So a fae is kind of annoying. What would the others be? I already said rage. Fire, rage. I guess that would be demonic-ish? Although that kind of falls into a sliding scale more so, with fae being in the middle between angelic and demonic. Or angelic and fiendish, I should say. Not demonic explicitly. What else? We have the warg. Again, the canines. It's going to go in D. It's not particularly something I look forward to. It's a filler battle, you know? It's a filler battle. You know it. The players know it. It's a random encounter that you just threw in because you needed to pad a little bit of time out. They're getting too quickly to a spot that you haven't fully mapped out and planned out yet. Not that you necessarily need to do that to run the game, but sometimes you just need another extra week of preparation. Or maybe they just roll a little poorly and you need to show them some consequences to that. Blink dogs fall into that same category too. Although, they at least have a little bit of funness in how they can play out. Let's put the blink dog in there. I feel like I'm delaying on these others. I'm delaying just a bit on these others. Let's see. We have Centaur, Elvish High Arcanist, Elvish Warrior, Griffin Treants. I should deal with the elves. The elvish description was way over the top. It did not need to be that. That's praising, I suppose. Elves are great. Elves are beautiful. Elves are lovely. Elves are charming. They charm people. Elves are terrific. They inspire terror. I think they may have lost a bit of sight of that, though, in their descriptions. How does that go? Give me a second. That quote. You know what I'm referencing, right? Elves are wonderful. They provoke wonder. Elves are marvelous. They cause marvels. Elves are fantastic. They create fantasies. Elves are glamorous. They project glamour. Elves are enchanting. They weave enchantments. Elves are terrific. They beget terror. The things about words is that meanings can twist just like a snake. And if you want to find snakes, look for them behind words that have changed their meaning. No one ever said elves are nice. Elves are bad. Terry Pratchett. Maybe I should read Lords and Ladies. Maybe I should read Lords and Ladies. It's tempting. It's tempting. Treant. Okay. No, I was going to do elves. 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 Okay. Elves go in B. I just realized I don't have an E. I never made an E ranking. Ah. Elves are fine. Elves are fine. We're gonna put the higher kind of stuff higher, though. I think magicians. You know what, actually? We're gonna keep the arcanist here. We're gonna move the warrior down a notch. Mages are usually more fun to play against and for, usually. But at the same time, they do need some protection. They need some protection, so they have it as marked as solitary. But I could certainly see a pair or a set. Like 3 warriors to a priest. Or 3 warriors to an arcanist. That sort of situation. Centaur, Griffin, Tria. The Griffins are... What were the stats on the Griffin again? Real quick. What were the stats? 10 hit points, group, 1 armor, large, organized. Right, so this is the man's best friend type deal. It's not a magical mistake. They are haughty and arrogant, but they have loyalty. If you have their friendship, you have an ally for all your days. Just don't slight them. Don't slight them. So, and their special moves were judge someone's worthiness, carry an ally aloft, strike from above. All I can think of for the judge someone's worthiness. So does that kind of move into the territory of a sphinx a little bit if we treat them like that? Will that work? That could be a fun encounter. I think that could be fun. I don't... What if... It's kind of a... Is it a B or is it a C? Are they a B or are they a C type deal? I think that it would be easy to move between. Centaurs. This one was another loop. Centaurs. They had a speech from the point of view of a centaur because they are intelligent. Where they're taking up arms against the others, against men, humans specifically, but they also denigrated elves in the process. It's kind of a... Really? Really? You're going to call us out? Let's see. Horde, large, organized, intelligent, half horse, half man. Fire, perfect bullseye. They're too perfect. They're too perfect. They need to get knocked down a notch. You know what? D. D for centaur. They don't deserve to be any higher. They do not deserve to be any higher. Not this interpretation. As long as they also don't speak in riddles. For the griffin. The griffins aren't able to speak as far as I know, but there's nothing saying that you could not make something like that. Maybe after a certain point in age, they take human tongue. Maybe they're able to converse with the Eagle Lords, and Eagle Lords are able to converse with the humans and elves. So a bit of telephone game there, perhaps. I wonder how Eagle Lords feel about griffins. It's not like griffins, again, are a magical mistake, so to speak. So, they might also get offended, actually, in both cases, that you would think that they're related. Just because they have similar features, they're not related. Maybe you shouldn't bring that up, then. Maybe I shouldn't bring that up. And the only thing we have left is the Treants. The Treants. They had a poem. Old and tall and thick of bark, walk amidst the tree-line dark. Ah, with a wallop, and 21 hit points. Again, I think that's one of the biggest that we've seen, and one of the strongest that we've seen. Not super intelligent by the sounds of it, but intelligent enough. Intelligent enough. And amorphous. I think I like a Treants. I think I like a Treants. We're gonna put them up here. Shh. We're gonna put them up here. Something from the Dark Woods should get up here. And I think Treant probably has as much interesting about it as a Dryad does. And they're also not limited like a Dryad is. In terms of location. Why can't they go walking out of their forest? They may not want to necessarily in most cases, but it's possible. And imagine being an axe-wielding dwarf. You're not that kind of axe-wielding dwarf. You're not a lumberjack, but you're a warrior, a fighter, who happens to wield axes, walking in the Treants territory. Maybe the next character I play should be an axe wielder. Maybe. Do they come in groves? They come in groups, these Treants. 21 hit points, 4 armor, walloping branches for D10 plus 5 damage. In groups. I think this would be something that young adventurers would be very hard pressed to fight against, honestly. So it might just be a case of be careful what you wield in public. Or in private, in the private of the forest. So we have our final list of these 4 settings. This is 4 settings worth of content. And again, we have another... one, two, three, four, 5 more to go. We are not quite halfway through the monster settings. We have finished with page 275 of 410. Some of these are not full pages, mind you. They are interstitials. But still, we are over halfway through the book, but not quite halfway through the monster settings. So, if I make next week into a regular reading stream, it might be a year, I feel like, before I get to finish this entire book. It might be a year. Friendly Fire Wizard? Do you want to set the entire forest on fire? Then you might have more to deal with. There are assassin pines and dryads in the woods, you know? Plus everything else that might live in the woods. You just have to be careful about what you use in the forest. You never know who else is there. I say this as someone who also has made a fire wizard in the deep dark forests. Granted, I was a bit careful in the woods. I was a little bit careful in the woods. So, let's see. Where do we go from here? Oh, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to check something else out. So this wraps up the plan for today. We have read an entire setting. One entire setting. But we will read the rest another week. Maybe not next week. It will really depend on if I can find... I have a suggestion for a book. I believe it was from the Cat Who series. But we'll have to see what I can acquire. Let's see. What is happening here? Now, do we go to ASMR or do we go to like more tabletop talk? Because we could go either way. We can go either way. Which is really the problem here with the reading tabletop stuff. Let me check real quick if there's anyone else doing any sort of reading right now, because that might also change things up. Oh. Do you want SCP stories? That could be arranged. That could be arranged. Let's see. I think I will shuffle them to you. It is actually EVNB. So going from EV Games to EVNB or EVNB. Let me copy their name real quick. Let me copy their name real quick. You will raid into them in a second. And they are how long into this? They're an hour and 35 minutes into stream, and they are reading sleepy SCP stories with storytelling and gentle rain in the background. So hopefully not too much of a mismatch from this reading monster stat blocks with forest in the background. But thank you very much for coming tonight. Tuesday should be... I'm planning on playing Everdell again. I am going to get good at Everdell. I'm going to get good at Everdell. I have to beat the Comfy Forest games. And Wednesday, I think I'm going to do one more session of Witcher to clear up a few things on the side. And Saturday, we will have to see about that. You'll have to see. And Sunday as well, we will have to see. I have a Twitter account where on Tuesdays, I post my schedule, Tuesday mornings. So if you so desire, you can catch it there. What I will be doing on Saturday and Sunday. Thank you, Isaac, for the good night. I hope you have a good night too. And with that, have a good night.